Chapter 480. The moment the demonic claw stretched out, a terrifying and evil aura that could destroy one's soul spread out. The corpses and bones in the surroundings exploded into powder. The mountain couldn't withstand the pressure of the aura and turned into ashes, dispersing all of a sudden. This chi was so powerful that it seemed to be boundless. What? The chi of an ancient demon king. The Black Demon King was shocked. As a life and death realm warrior, he needed to know about the demons that were even more powerful than the humans in the ancient times. This demon claw was not a beast's claw, but a demon's claw, which was a branch of the demons. They were known for their huge bodies and correspondingly, the demon power inside their bodies was also proportional to their body size. At their peak, any ancient demon king's demon power would be hundreds or even thousands of times more than life and death realm warriors of the same level. Although the ancient demon kings did not train martial arts, could not understand the profound, and did not have a powerful willpower, and could only fight with their bodies and demon power, in a one-on-one battle or even 10-on-1 battle, the one who would die would be the human, not the ancient demon king. If it were not for the fact that there were too many humans and demons, the ones who would lose in the ancient times would not be the demons, but the humans. What is this? Hundreds of miles away, Yi Chen could clearly see the 100-meter-tall demon claw and feel the horrifying chi coming from it. He suspected that if he did not have the master-level sword intent, his soul would be destroyed immediately. Murong Qingqing took a deep breath and said with a serious tone, "It is an ancient demon, a branch of the demons. I did not expect it to be sealed in the parallel space battlefield for hundreds of thousands of years." Ancient demon? Didn't they say that life and death realm warriors could only live for 1,000 years? No matter how long the demons could live, they should not be able to live for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Yi Chen was confused. Demons live 10 times longer than humans, so the demon kings can live for 10,000 years. But, the ancient demon kings with low intelligence can live even longer than the ancient demon kings. Some can live for 30,000 years and some can live for 50,000 years. Normally, after hundreds of thousands of years, any ancient demon king would die of old age. But, the sealing power has weakened the effect of time. So, hundreds of thousands of years might only be tens of thousands of years for this ancient demon king. Murong Qingqing knew demons very well, so she explained everything to him. A look of shock appeared on Yi Chen's face, but after thinking about it, he realized that something was wrong, so he continued, "The power of sealing can weaken the power of time. Doesn't that mean that human kings can seal themselves and live for thousands of years?" Murong Qingqing shook her head. Besides weakening the power of time, the sealing power will also weaken the target's cultivation. If a human king is sealed for thousands of years, no, just a few hundred years, their cultivation will definitely weaken until they die. Only a demon king can survive, because a demon king's demonic power is hundreds or even thousands of times more than a human king's. In ancient times, the final victory of the human race was due to their control of the sealing power. I see. It was Yi Chen's first time learning high-level information about demons. We are in trouble. There is an ancient demon king sealed here, and after hundreds of thousands of years, the seal should have been loosened a long time ago. The Beast King forced a laugh, then suddenly thought of something. Could it be that he threw out that extreme rank axe on purpose to attract the life and death realm warriors? The shockwaves from the battle between life and death realm warriors would weaken the power of the seal, which would allow him to get out more easily without using up a lot of demonic power. In his sight, one of the Demon King's arms had already reached out, which was thousands of meters long. The Black Thunder King said with a low voice, "The loosening of the seal power allowed the Demon King's demonic power to tear open the space through the crack of the seal and throw out an extreme rank weapon. Then he created a space door and attracted a lot of people in. That black chi had swallowed a lot of people's blood and flesh essence, which replenished the Demon King's body and helped him regain some of his vitality." The Beast King said strangely, "Are the demons this smart? Although the demons have low intelligence, it does not mean that they do not have it. This kind of attack is very normal. Unfortunately, we did not know that there was an ancient demon king sealed here. Let's cut the crap and start the battle. This demon king has been tortured by the seal power for hundreds of thousands of years, so its demonic power must have been damaged. We cannot let him out no matter what. Otherwise, once he swallows enough blood and flesh essence, his demonic power will recover completely." The Black Thunder King did not care about the axe anymore as he suggested. "Yeah, the demons are different from humans. They can recover by swallowing the blood and flesh essence of living beings. Shining King, now is not the time to be angry. You know the rules of the human race." The Beast King glanced at the Shining King. The Shining King said with a cold voice, "I do not need your reminder. I know what to do." Boom, boom, boom. The three of them were all life and death realm warriors, and their combined attacks had shattered the space around them, landing on the Demon King's arm. All of a sudden, that thousands of meters long arm started to shake. Pieces of flesh disappeared one after another, as if it had been bitten by a giant. Brr. The ground cracked open, and the roar of the ancient Demon King came out of the ground. One could see with naked eyes that the flesh on the broken arm started to move and recover quickly. In the next second, the wounded area was as good as new. However, the chi of the ancient Demon King had weakened a bit, which meant that his yuan chi had been damaged. 5 Thunder Print. Explode. The Black Thunder King's attack was the most powerful. His 2 hands shot out 10 dark blue light prints, exploding on the shoulder of the ancient Demon King, bringing up a lot of dust. The Shining King did not want to be outdone either, as he continued to attack the ancient Demon King's arm with his shining light. A sizzling sound could be heard without an end. The Beast King's attacks were extremely powerful as he continued to attack the ancient Demon King's arm. Even the bones there had been broken. Dong. All of a sudden, the head of the ancient Demon King popped out of the ground. The skull that was covered in bone pieces locked onto the Black Thunder King, who was the most powerful of them all. It then shot out a beam of black light wave which was way too fast and too sudden. Even the Black Thunder King did not manage to dodge it in time, and was scratched by it. Half of his body was covered in blood, and his bones were all over the place. The Black Thunder King gasped as he cursed with a low voice, "Damn it! This one attack has cost me at least half a year of cultivation." Once one reached the life and death realm, their Zhen Yuan and flesh would merge into one. Therefore it would take a lot of Zhen Yuan to recover. The more serious the injury, the more Zhen Yuan it would take. And the life and death realm warrior's Zhen Yuan cultivation was way too horrifying, so it would take a long time to recover. Half a year of cultivation would take the Black Thunder King a week to recover. Of course, if he had some rare treasures it would be different. While they were talking, the wound on the Black Thunder King's body started to heal quickly. There was not a single flaw on his body, as if he had never been wounded before. What a horrifying healing power. Whether it was the ancient Demon King or the Black Thunder King, their healing power was unbelievably powerful. If it were Yi Chen with this kind of injury, he would have been on the verge of death already, unless he could train his undying body to the first level. In that case, perhaps he would feel better. Demon, eat my hammer. The Beast King's hammer weapon was a semi-extreme rank 1. The hammer light spun around before landing on the ancient Demon King's head. Chin. Sparks flew everywhere as the ancient Demon King broke off one of his horns. The burning sparks had even burned through the ground. The lower part of the ancient Demon King's body could be seen clearly, as well as the 6-star sealing spell that had wrapped around his body. A gap had appeared on the spell, and the ancient Demon King had indeed climbed out from it. Chapter 481. The ancient Demon King felt the pain, so his other arm reached out of the ground and slapped the Beast King thousands of miles away. That black light had sliced through the Beast King's protective Zhen Yuan layer and left a serious wound on his left rib and chest, shattering all of his bones. Shining King, what are you waiting for? Otherwise, I will lose my 3 years of cultivation. The Beast King showed his teeth, using his Zhen Yuan to heal his wounds as he yelled at the Shining King. Shining Blade. The Shining King's whole body was wrapped up by the dark red light, which shrunk and turned into the shape of a blade, piercing through the ancient Demon King's neck. Swoosh. Demon blood spilled everywhere as the ancient Demon King held onto his neck and groaned. 5 Thunder Print. Seal. No one knew when, but the Black Thunder King had already arrived above the ancient Demon King. He opened his 5 fingers and pressed down in the air. All of a sudden, 5 dark blue light prints appeared around the ancient Demon King's head. The rolling thunder tornado continued to eat away at his demon power and physical body, leaving him no time to fight back. After being in so much pain for so long, the ancient Demon King had completely lost his mind. Both of his hands pressed on the ground as his mountain-like muscles swelled up. His body suddenly jumped out of the ground and escaped from the seal. Boom. As soon as the ancient Demon King got out of the seal, the dark funnel turned into a shuttle and merged with his body, increasing his demon power drastically and increasing his battling power to another level. With a loud noise, the thunder tornado was torn apart, and the Black Thunder King backed out. The ancient Demon King turned his head and suddenly reached out his palm, trying to grab the Shining King, who was flying at an extremely fast speed. The Shining King was shocked, so he quickly jumped into the surreal space. However, the ancient Demon King's palm was like a Buddha's 5-finger mountain. It followed him into the surreal space and grabbed onto the Shining King. No! The The Shining King was extremely frightened. He had not trained to the level of flesh and blood regeneration yet, so he would not be afraid of king warriors at the same level or even one level higher than him. However, this ancient demon king was from the ancient era, where king warriors were everywhere. Their battling power was unbelievably powerful. Plus, the ancient demon king was already dozens of times more powerful than human king warriors. Even if his cultivation had been damaged to the point where it was not even 1/10 of his peak, it would still be able to threaten his life. The eyes of the Black Thunder King flickered. In fact, he did not care about the life and death of the Shining King at all, since it was none of his business. However, the human race had their own rules. When encountering the demons, they had to work together. Whoever did not do their best would be punished. Not to mention the Black Thunder King, even the Supreme Su King would not dare to violate it. Whoever violated it would be going against the entire human race, and their death would not be worth it. Plus, the ancient demon king's power had been greatly damaged. Once he devoured the Shining King's flesh and blood essence, his power would become even more horrifying. And, looking at the extreme rank axe not far away, the Black Thunder King made a grabbing motion, and the axe flew into his hand. Break it. The soul mark in the axe had already disappeared with the passage of time, so the Black Thunder King did not have to spend much effort to leave his own mark on it. Holding the axe in his hand, the Black Thunder King yelled and threw out an axe attack onto the demonic arm that was grabbing the Shining King. Crack. The 1,000-meter-long arm of the Shining King was cut off immediately. Demon blood poured out like a flood, pouring down and shattering mountains one after another. Whoa. The damage the axe had dealt to the Demon King was too great. Regrowing a broken limb was indeed the realm of immortality, but regrowing a broken limb consumed a lot of demonic power. No one wanted to regrow a broken limb every day. If that happened, it wouldn't be long before their cultivation would be exhausted and they would become extremely weak. Having escaped from death, the Shining King was still scared. But, seeing the extreme rank axe in the Black Thunder King's hand, his face did not look good again. His power was not as powerful as the Black Thunder King before, and now that the latter had that axe, he would not be able to compete with him at all. Therefore he could only suffer in silence. Die. After being sealed for hundreds of thousands of years, the ancient Demon King's mind was very unstable. He kept mumbling the word die, as his remaining arm formed a fist and threw out a punch toward the Black Thunder King. The Black Thunder King held the axe with both of his hands, trying his best to defend. The next second, an earth-shaking sound was heard as a huge hole appeared in the space between the two. The Black Thunder King dragged his axe and was blown thousands of miles away. Shining King, you also have a semi-extreme rank weapon. Don't hide it anymore. Take it out for the ancient Demon King. The Beast King did not dare to move alone, so he said to the Shining King. The Shining King had a dark look on his face as a 7-meter-long iron feather wing appeared on his back. The chi coming from it was different from normal semi-extreme rank weapons, but it was actually a part of an extreme rank weapon. It could increase his speed to another level. Before, he thought that he was fast enough, so he did not take it out. But now he did not think so anymore. Shoo. With the help of the iron feather wing, the Shining King's body started to move, as if he did not exist in this world at all, which drove the ancient Demon King crazy. Beast King, let's go. The Black Thunder King and the Beast King stood side by side. All right. Seeing the Black Thunder King holding the extreme rank axe, the Beast King did not feel unhappy at all. He had at least gotten 2 Earth Yuan crystals, while the Shining King had gotten nothing. All of a sudden, the two attacked toward the ancient Demon King from the left and right. Legendary cut. The Beast King's hammer attack was extremely powerful, as if there were dozens of mountains compressed inside the small hammer. That one attack was enough to make the ancient Demon King dizzy and bleed out. 5 Thunder cut. 5 light prints accumulated on the edge of the axe as the Black Thunder King roared. He threw out a blow and broke open the ancient Demon King's neck. The aggressive thunder even drilled into the ancient Demon King's body, continuing to destroy its body and demon power. Its killing power was unimaginably powerful. Dong. The ground started to shake and mud waves shot up into the sky. The ancient Demon King did not want to waste its demon power to heal its wound and its missing right arm. With its huge size, it stomped on the ground and broke through the siege, rushing toward the unknown entrance. It was not stupid, and it knew that it would die even worse if it went deeper into the surreal space. Only in the human world would there be enough creatures for it to devour. Don't let it get away. The extreme rank axe in the Black Thunder King's hand enlarged and landed heavily on the ancient Demon King's right foot. The ancient Demon King did not have time to react. and its body fell onto the ground, creating a huge demon-shaped pit that was hundreds of meters deep. This is the battle between king warriors. It is indeed hard to kill. Watching all of this, Yichen could not help but sigh. Below the life and death realm, no one dared to get wounded too badly. If the wound was too serious, it would mean a drop in their battling power and life force. With just a little bit of carelessness, they would die and cease to exist. However, the battle between king warriors was a long-lasting battle. When the power gap was not that big, it would be extremely hard to kill the other in a short period of time. After all, with the immortal body, one would be able to maintain their peak condition at all times, and would only lose a little bit of cultivation. Of course, losing too much cultivation would be a bad thing. Therefore, the ancient demon king had to run. Die. The beast king was not afraid of the ancient demon king anymore. It seemed like the hundreds of thousands of years of being sealed had not only taken out most of the ancient demon king's demon power, but it had also lowered his defense to the lowest point. It should be known that the physical defense of the ancient demon king was just as horrifying, way more powerful than humans. Boom. The ancient demon king's head was smashed deep into the ground, demon blood spilling everywhere. The shining king seized the opportunity and sliced through the remaining left arm of the ancient demon king, cutting off the entire massive arm. Decapitation. The Black Thunder King was even more ruthless. He lifted up his axe and chopped down with all his strength. With a loud boom, the ground shook and a mountain-like head was chopped off, flying away. His body spun as the axe in his hand tore apart the sky, leaving a black light arc, completely shattering the head of the Black Thunder King. Dead. Murong Qingqing said lightly. Yichen said, "Will there be any unforeseen events?" Murong Qingqing shook her head. Impossible. The demon beasts have low intelligence. Once they reach the life and death realm, they will only be able to master the first level of the undying body, and the second level of the flesh growth art. Otherwise, when they are at their peak, they would definitely be everyone's nightmare. Yichen thought about it and agreed with her. The ancient demon king already had a huge advantage. If they mastered the flesh growth and blood growth, then the ancient humans would not be able to win. Crack. At this moment, the ancient demon king's chest suddenly split open, revealing a pitch-black hole with nothing inside. However, in the next moment, a large amount of mana gathered from the other parts of the ancient demon king's body. The mana gathered together, forming a black ball of mana light. Within the ball of light, there was a constantly flowing black light. This black light was 100 times more condensed than the most resplendent black diamond. It could practically blind people's eyes. The black light shot out of the chest, covering thousands of miles in only a second before disappearing into Murong Qingqing's chest. Demon Power Essence. The three king warriors yelled out loud. The devil race had a special characteristic. After dying in battle, the devil power essence in their body would enter the body of another devil race. This devil power essence couldn't be used in a short period of time, but after a long time, it would gradually become that devil race's own devil power, increasing its cultivation. The three had never fought against demons before, so they had forgotten about it. The Beast King looked at Murong Qingqing with a murderous look and sneered, "Demons cannot exist. Then she must be a demi-demon with the blood of the demons. Little girl, you have bad luck, since I am an anti-demi-demon." An ant-like being? Just kill her. The Shining King was not happy about the fact that the Black Thunder King had taken the extreme rank axe. He did not dare to go against him, so he decided to take it out on Murong Qingqing. She was a demi-demon, and he believed that no one would do anything to him. After all, he was not going to wipe out the entire demi-demon family. Waving his hand casually, a dark red light shot out from the Shining King's hand, covering Murong Qingqing's body within a second. Yichen did not even have the time to blink his eyes, not to mention helping out. Plus, since it was a king warrior attacking, he would not be able to stop it. Seeing that the light was about to devour Murong Qingqing, a mysterious door suddenly appeared behind Murong Qingqing. A beautiful figure walked out of it, reaching out a long jade-like palm to block out the attack of the dark red light. Chapter 482. As the dark red light disappeared, the figure's face appeared in front of everyone's eyes. It was a beautiful young lady who did not look older than 25 years old. Her hair was like a waterfall reaching all the way to her feet. Her eyes were like stars in the sky, giving off a mysterious vibe. Besides that, there was nothing else that could be seen, and it seemed like it would be hard for anyone to remember her. Xianhou. In fact, this was the first time Yichen had seen Xianhou. As for that portrait of Xianhou, the face was blurry as if it was covered in layers of fog. But, with only one glance, Yi Qin knew that it was Xianhou in front of him. More accurately, it was Xuanhou's mental image. The Shining King was shocked. He had not expected that the power behind Murong Qingqing would be Xianhou. Who Xianhou was? Perhaps everyone in this land knew about her. She had only reached the life and death realm for 20 years, but she already had the power to compete with top king warriors like the Dragon King and the Evil King. If she wanted to protect the demi-demon family, including Su King, all of the king warriors would have to think twice. After all, Xianhou still had a lot of potential, and no one could guess how far she could go in the end. Xianhou. The Shining King and the other two held their fists together, looking a bit respectful. Xianhou looked at the dead body of the Demon King on the ground and nodded slightly. You guys have done well. The birth of the Demon King has brought a lot of lives. I did not expect that after hundreds of thousands of years, the sealing power still has not worn out this Demon King's demon power. Demons are indeed a race that is above the human race. This is what we should do. The Black Thunder King did not have the aggressiveness he had before. In front of Xianhou, it was not that aggressive at all. Give me some face, don't make it hard for her. Xianhou was talking about Murong Qingqing. The Black Thunder King said without hesitation, since Xianhou has said so, then we will do it. He's just a junior. It doesn't matter if I kill him or not. The Beast King shrugged. The Shining King nodded quietly. Killing Murong Qingqing was something that could be done easily for him. If it was not something that could be done easily and it was not necessary, then he would not bother to do it. Before, it was mostly because of his anger. If there's nothing else, Xianhou, I'll take my leave first. Since the Demon King was dead and the extreme rank axe was in his hands, the Black Thunder King did not care about anything else in the parallel space battlefield. He cupped his fists and said, crack. The space was shattered and the Black Thunder King disappeared. We will also take our leave. The Shining King and the Beast King left one after the other. Waiting until the three of them disappeared from her sight, Xianhou turned around and looked at Murong Qingqing. You are a demi-devil and you have the perfect demi-devil bloodline. Your future is bound to be full of disasters. The mysterious pearl I gave you has the effect of locating you 3 times. With the mysterious pearl, I can use its aura to cross the space and cast my will image. After 3 times, the one who will block the disaster for you will no longer be me. Thank you, Xianhou, for saving me. Qingqing will remember it. Murong Qingqing frowned. She believed that Xianhou was telling the truth, but she did not know what kind of disasters Xianhou was talking about. Xianhou chuckled. Back then, when I was able to reach the life and death realm, I had received too many favors. Therefore, I want to pay them back one by one. Your demi-devil family, I will try my best to protect you as well. But, your family still has the bloodline of the demons, so there are too many hidden dangers. I have no way of knowing what will happen in the future, so I can only take it one step at a time. No matter what, I will remember Xuanhou's favor. Murong Qingqing knew a little about the hidden dangers of the demi-devil family, and she also knew that those people did not mean to hurt the demi-devil family. Moving her eyes to Yi Qin, Xianhou said curiously, I cannot see through you. Yi Qin shivered, not knowing what Xianhou wanted to say. The last time the Hidden Dragon Ancient City opened, the Dragon King and I were both there. The others could more or less see some signs and potential, but only you, the Dragon King, and I could not see through. I think the Dragon King did not take you as his disciple because of this reason. Yi Qin said respectfully, Xianhou is too kind. No, I just cannot see through you. Your past is a piece of fog and your future is also a piece of fog. Qingqing is with you and her body is also stained with this kind of aura. Perhaps you can help her resist some of the dangers and use your sword to cut off her karma. Yi Qin said, Murong is my friend. When a friend is in trouble, I will naturally do my best to help her. Xianhou continued, you are one of the main characters of this era, and the people around you are not ordinary people. However, you have to be careful of the other main characters. In every era there will only be one main character and the others in the end will only be supporting characters. Between the main characters and the supporting characters, there will definitely be battles after battles, and in the process of battles, there will inevitably be deaths and injuries. This is something that no one can stop. My sword will not fear anything. Yi Chen's expression was indifferent. He didn't care about the main characters or supporting characters. What he cared about was the brilliance of life. Since the heavens wanted him to come to this world, he would use his own sword and fight until the end, until eternity. The process was what he enjoyed. That's why I can't see through you. Xianhou shook her head. Her Tao could reach the soul directly. Not to mention a small astral reaching realm warrior, even if it was a king warrior who had just reached the life and death realm, she would still be able to see through it. However, when it came to Yi Qin, there seemed to be a mysterious power that blocked her observation. She wanted to go around this mysterious power, but she realized that this mysterious power was boundless, and she had almost fallen into it. Alright, this is done. We will meet again in the future. Also, this parallel space battlefield is about to collapse. You guys walk in that direction and you will find the entrance that you came from. Xianhou pointed out a clear path for the two, then stepped into the illusionary door. The door closed and disappeared into the surreal space. Oh. As soon as Xianhou left, Yi Qin let out a breath that he had been holding back. Xianhou did not have any hostility towards him, and she had even tried to hide her aura. But even though they were so close, Yi Qin still felt a kind of pressure. In front of this pressure he could not even use his soul power, and the opponent was only a mental projection. Murong Qingqing was not feeling good either. Anyone who got close to a king warrior would feel the pressure. Even their children would not be able to stay calm in front of a king warrior. This was not affected by anyone as if it was the rule of the heavens. Even the king warriors could not do anything about it. Deep in the surreal space, 3 human figures were traveling. She is indeed Xianhou. It was only a mental projection, but she was able to take on an attack from the Shining King and bring us a bit of pressure. The Beast King said with admiration. The Shining King said, I did not use all of my power. I know that you did not use all of your power. But if you did, then it would be Xuanhou's mental projection that would arrive. Are you sure you can handle Xuanhou's mental projection? The Beast King said with a playful expression. The Shining King was speechless. Killing Murong Qingqing was something that he could do easily. But, seeing how Xuanhou's mental projection had been shattered so easily, it was not hard to imagine how powerful she was. Moreover, the mental projection was even more horrifying, as it was equivalent to 30% of Xuanhou's battling power. Plus, he suspected that Murong Qingqing had the mysterious pearl that only Xianhou had. With the enhancement of the pearl, the mental projection would not lose any battling power just because of the distance. The Black Thunder King said lightly, it is not impossible for us to reach Xuanhou's realm. The universe is so mysterious, and it is not something that one person can understand. As long as we have the chance, we can also become the top king warriors. Whether it is the sky or the land, the opportunities are everywhere. The Black Thunder King had always been prideful because he was also an amazing martial genius in his generation. Otherwise, he would not have been able to surpass the Shining King, who was twice his age, and reach his current realm when he was only 100 years old. Crack, crack. The sound of something breaking was heard, catching the 3's attention. Not good. The breaking of the seal and the commotion caused by the battle are too huge. This parallel space that has existed for hundreds of thousands of years could not handle it anymore. It is about to collapse. The 3 did not have any other thoughts as they broke through the surreal space and entered the parallel space. All 3 of them had disciples in there, and some of them were even the future of their martial institutions. They could not just watch these people die in front of them. There was a space door in the sky, and behind it was a light membrane. It was the entrance and also the exit. Yi Qin and Murong Qingqing went through the light membrane and arrived at the tunnel. There were already slight cracks on the transparent tunnel, which meant that the parallel space was indeed about to collapse. The space storm created by the collapse of a parallel space would tear apart anyone below the life and death realm. Even normal life and death realm warriors would be badly wounded or even killed. When they walked out of the tunnel, a part of the space door behind them had been broken. Skull-sized space pieces flew everywhere and one of them shot toward Yi Qin. Break. It was not that Yi Qin had not seen the space power before, but this space piece was made of space power, so it was not much different from the real space power. Using his void-shattering finger art, the space piece exploded and disappeared. Landing on top of a mountain, the 2 lifted their heads and looked at the collapsing space door. One figure after another flew out, unable to keep up with the situation. Soon Jing Aoshuan, Li Xiaoyan and Chu Zhongtian came out as well. Yi Qin could tell that the aura of the 3 had become more powerful. It seemed like they had gotten a lot of spirit stones just like him. More and more people flew out, covering the whole mountain. It was not until the Black Thunder King, the Shining King, and the Beast King came out that the space door suddenly exploded, turning into a space turbulence instead of a space piece. Some of the people who did not manage to get out in time were killed instantly, not even having the chance to scream. Let's seal up the gap together. The 3 looked serious. The space storm was not something to joke about. Once it rushed out through the gap, besides them no one else would be able to survive. Moreover, their cultivation would be severely damaged as well, and it would take years or even decades for them to recover. Without using their profound sense martial arts, the three of them pushed their Zhenyuan with all of their power, forming a Zhenyuan shield to block up the space door. Pow, pow, pow. The space turbulence kept attacking the Zhenyuan shield, bringing up sparks of light. Gradually, the space turbulence became weaker and weaker, and the space crack disappeared as well. It was like a broken mirror being repaired without a single crack. Chapter 483. Let's go. In the parallel space battlefield, Yi Chen had gained a lot. His spirit body had also been condensed by half. Although his power had not increased directly, it had increased a lot. Sometimes, a powerful defense could turn the tide of a battle. However, he felt that the spirit power inside his body had not been fully consolidated yet, so he had to close up for a while. Yeah. Murong Qingqing also needed to train, but she had gained a lot more than Yi Chen. The Thunder City was huge and there were people selling houses every day. Of course, there were also people buying houses as well. Yi Chen and Murong Qingqing were one of them, since the restaurants were too noisy and small. It was not a good place to train in. So, buying a house was not too much of a burden for them. Since the luxurious houses in the Thunder City were hard to come by, the two had to split up and buy a slightly smaller house each. Inside the secret room of the house, Yi Chen sat on a clean stone platform with his legs crossed. Outside the true spirit continent is an endless ocean, the zenith sky is a starry sky, and outside the zenith sky is an unknown dark universe. The whole world is way too big and I am still very weak, I can't even control my own destiny. However, I have to take things one bite at a time, and I have to build my foundation bit by bit. If I don't have a good foundation, it will affect my future achievements. I hope that this plan will work. Once it succeeds, I will reach the life and death realm, and I will be able to stand at the top of the world and walk alone with my sword. His chi and blood were boiling, and Yi Chen's determination was unshakable. Letting out a heavy breath, Yi Chen entered the empty realm and slowly closed his eyes. 3 days later, Yi Chen woke up. Half spirit body is indeed half spirit body. Although my power did not increase that much, my physical defense has more than doubled. With my Zhenyuan activated, people below the Sea of Souls realm would have a hard time injuring me. But this does not include Jing Aoshuan and the rest, since they are at the astral reaching realm, and their battling power has already reached the Sea of Souls realm. Standing up, Yi Chen lifted up his hand to look at it. The skin on his forearm and palm was like jade and steel, with a faint red luster. Looking closely, one could see that the patterns on the skin had changed a little, as if it contained some kind of mystery. Boom. He threw out a punch, leaving a fist mark in the air. As the fist mark faded away, Yi Chen mumbled to himself, "My power has increased a little, but that explosive power is not the same as before. Is it because my nature has improved? Never mind, the spirit body has started and it will slowly improve in the future. Next, it will be time to train the undying body." Ever since he obtained the cultivation method of the undying body, he had never stopped cultivating unless he had something to do. Unfortunately, the progress was extremely slow. Up until now, he had only managed to brand his heart and liver with a mental imprint, and had not made any progress in the other parts. Spirit mark could not be left on the whole body. It would not last for a long and would disappear in a short time. Yi Chen had a thought. Of course, the time was still short and he didn't expect to succeed in one go. After all, with his current realm, it was still too early for him to cultivate the undying body. Humans have 5 viscera and 6 bowels. I have succeeded in the heart and liver. Time to move on to the next part. As the days passed, Yi Chen/S achievement in the undying body was getting higher and higher. On the 3rd day of a month, Yi Chen/S 5 viscera were all branded with the mental mark, and it could last for more than a quarter of an hour. In other words, within a quarter of an hour, Yi Chen/S 5 viscera would recover instantly if they were injured, unless the injury was too severe and exceeded the healing ability of the flesh healing. Dong, dong, dong. Knocking sounds came from outside the yard. Yi Chen woke up from his cultivation and said, "Only Jing Aoshuan, Li Xiaoyan and the others know where I live. Is there something wrong?" Pushing open the door, Yi Chen came to the yard. With a wave of his hand, the bolt on the door opened automatically. Li Xiaoyan walked in with a smile. The moment he saw Yi Chen, he was slightly startled. After not seeing him for more than a month, Yi Chen seemed to have changed slightly. He did not know what this change meant, but it was inconceivable. When he came out from the parallel battlefield, Yi Chen had already improved once. That time, it was his Zhenyuan that had become purer, and his cultivation method had probably increased by 1 level. Now he had improved again. Smiling bitterly, Li Xiaoyan said, "Brother Yi, did I disturb you?" Yi Chen said, "I have been in seclusion for more than a month and I want to relax a bit. I wonder why Brother Li is looking for me?" The backslash is like this. In the afternoon there will be a large-scale auction in Thunder City. I saw that you have never gone out, so you don backslash T know about it. Hearing him, Yi Chen nodded. I indeed don backslash T know. Thank you for reminding me. In order to learn the gold mentality, it would be best to train a gold element top rank Earth Realm sword art first. Thunder City was known as the #1 city in the Thunder region, and one of the top 10 cities in the True Spirit continent. There would definitely be top rank Earth Realm manuals in the auction. As for whether or not there would be a gold element top rank Earth Realm sword art manual, that would depend on luck. After talking about the business, Li Xiaoyun said emotionally, I was afraid that you would not be able to stabilize the situation in the tea gathering after 2 years. But now it seems like it was unnecessary. You have improved twice in a month. I am afraid that in the next tea gathering, I will not be your opponent at all. After training the undying body, there would be an undying qi surrounding one's body. Although this qi had disappeared along with the mental imprint, Li Xiaoyun could still sense it. No wonder he thought that he had made some progress. Yi Chen thought that Yi Chen had made some progress. After chatting for a while, Li Xiaoyun said his goodbyes and left. The sun was high up in the sky and it was noon. It was supposed to be tea time, but because of the auction, the Thunder City suddenly became crowded. Countless people rushed toward the auction house in the East District. Inside the luxurious VIP room, Yi Chen, Jing Aoshuan and Li Xiaoyun were all there. Chu Zhongtian was not there, and Murong Qingqing was still in closed-door training. The Thunder City is indeed one of the top 10 cities in the True Spirit continent. Sea of Souls realm warriors are everywhere. Even for Li Xiaoyan, it was his first time seeing so many Sea of Souls realm warriors. Jing Aoshuan said, the Thunder City is indeed one of the top 10 cities, but the reason it could attract so many people is because the auction items are rare enough. Top-rank weapons, the remains of life and death realm warriors, jade letters with profound sense martial arts. They have all been auctioned more than once. Jade letters with profound sense martial arts? Yi Chen was a bit surprised. Jing Aoshuan nodded. Some people find profound sense martial arts that are not suitable for them, so they would usually seal it back into the jade letters and sell it in the auction. I see that Brother Yi does not have a profound sense sword art yet. Perhaps you can get it in the auction. Yi Chen forced a smile. With my spirit stone storage, even if there is a profound sense sword art, I am afraid I will not be able to get it. Profound sense martial arts were sky realm martial arts, so mid-rank spirit stones would not be enough to buy them. Only top-rank spirit stones would do. However, Yi Chen had quite a lot of mid-rank spirit stones, but he only had 50,000 top-rank spirit stones, and that was because he had killed a lot of Sea of Souls realm warriors. Jing Aoshuan said, Brother Yi should have a lot of mid-rank spirit stones, right? Yes, I have a lot of mid-rank spirit stones. In the past month, Yi Chen had counted the mid-rank spirit stones in his storage ring. There were more than 7 million of them, and most of them were from killing Sea of Souls realm warriors. Then you do not need to worry. The auction in the Thunder City allows you to exchange mid-rank spirit stones for top-rank spirit stones. The exchange rate is 1-to-1. Yi Chen said curiously, mid-rank spirit stones can be exchanged for top-rank spirit stones. Indeed. Although the purity of the spirit stones Yuan Qi is not as pure as top-rank spirit stones, for all the big martial institutions, mid-rank spirit stones are still indispensable. No one needs top-rank spirit stones right from the start, especially the rank 5 martial institutions, where there are countless disciples below the Sea of Souls realm. Having more mid-rank spirit stones would not be a bad thing. Plus, the total amount of Yuan Qi in top-rank spirit stones is 30 times that of mid-rank spirit stones. Even if it is a bit purer, it would be equivalent to 50 to 60 mid-rank spirit stones at most. So, 100 mid-rank spirit stones for one top-rank spirit stone would not be a bad thing for either side. If that is the case, then perhaps I would have the right to compete. Sword artists were always rare, and Sea of Souls realm sword artists were even rarer. Moreover, Sea of Souls realm sword artists who were richer than Yi Chen were probably not that many left. As they were talking, the auction officially began. The auctioneer was not a normal person but a Sea of Souls realm warrior. This was the first time Yi Chen had seen a Sea of Souls realm warrior acting as an auctioneer, and his evaluation of the Thunder City's auction had improved a lot. After a couple of rounds of auctions, the auction reached a small climax. The auction item was a full set of mid-rank defensive artifacts, including armor, helmet, arm guards, leg guards, and boots. It was almost enough to cover the entire body, which was rather unusual and rare. When there are a lot of mid-rank defensive artifacts, most of their defensive power will cancel each other out. But a full set of them would have about 80% of a normal top-rank defensive artifact. And a full set of mid-rank defensive artifacts would be even rarer than top-rank ones. It would be hard to come by. Yi Chen could not help but sigh. A full set of mid-rank defensive artifacts was a couple of times more valuable than a single mid-rank defensive artifact. The starting price was a shocking 200,000 mid-rank spirit stones, which was eventually bought by a Sea of Souls realm warrior for 35 mid-rank spirit stones. Yi Chen shook his head. There was still no top-rank Earth Realm sword art manuals up for auction. It seemed like it was going to be over soon. He wondered if there would be a low-rank Profound Sense sword art later on. The 56th auction item is a jade strip containing a Profound Sense martial art. The auctioneer with a bit of white hair scanned the crowd with a smile and said slowly, "What? Another Profound Sense martial art?" Before this, there had already been 2 jade strips containing Profound Sense martial arts. I wonder what kind it is? Everyone started to discuss as they listened to the auctioneer's next words. Seeing that he had whetted everyone's appetite, the auctioneer said, "The Profound Sense martial art in this jade strip is a low-rank one. It is a sword art with the metal element. But I would like to remind you that although it is only a low-rank Profound Sense sword art, it is way too sharp. Warriors with low soul power should be careful, lest they get injured mentally and leave a hidden danger behind." Sharp? No wonder. Sword arts have always been known for their sharpness, and it also contains the metal profound. With the two added together, its sharpness is not hard to imagine. Chapter 484. Cough. The auctioneer cleared his throat, calming the crowd down before yelling, "This profound sword attack is called the Gold Resonant Radiant Sword Attack. The starting price is 25,000 top-rank spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 1,000 top-rank spirit stones. The bidding begins now. 26,000. 27,000. 30,000. 35,000. In almost a blink of an eye, the price had shot up from 25,000 to 35,000. It should be known that these were upper-grade spirit stones, not mid-grade ones. Upper-grade spirit stones were extremely rare. Among the Sea of Soul realm warriors he had killed, the most he had was only 10,000, and the least was only a few thousand. A lot of Sea of Soul realm warriors did not even have enough upper-grade spirit stones for their own cultivation. Therefore they could only explore and search for treasures, then sell them in auctions to earn a huge amount of upper-grade spirit stones. Yi Chen did not bid in the end like before. Instead, he raised up his hand and said, 40,000. The auctioneer glanced at Yi Chen's VIP room and said with a smile, 40,000 top-rank soul stones, is there anyone else who wants to bid higher? 42,000. In another VIP room, a sword artist in gray robes raised up his hand to increase the price. All right. 42,000. Is there anyone else? 45,000. 46,000. Yi Chen's expression did not change at all. 50,000. As Yi Chen's voice was heard, most of the sword artists gave up on bidding. 50,000 top-rank spirit stones was not a small number. In fact, if one did not kill other Sea of Souls realm warriors, it would be impossible to gather 50,000 top-rank spirit stones. Killing a Sea of Souls realm warrior was not a game. If one was not careful, one might be killed instead unless one was powerful enough and had an overwhelming advantage. Even so, it would still be hard to guarantee that the other person was not hiding their power or hiding their killing ace. Therefore, without 100% confidence, no one would try to kill someone and rob them. 52,000. The sword artist in gray robes was not scared by the price. 55,000. Yi Chen was not in urgent need of top-rank spirit stones right now, so he would not care even if he spent them all. The sword artist frowned. 58,000. 60,000. 60,000. The sword artist squinted his eyes, his expression dark as he stopped talking. 70,000. Just when everyone thought that Yi Chen had won, the price rose by another 10,000. The one who made the bid was not the gray-robed swordsman, but an old and sharp voice. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows. 80,000. 85,000. Yi Chen was about to continue raising the price when a voice rang out, "Little guy, let's call it a day. Give me some face." It would be impossible for Yi Chen to give up on his gold resonant radiant sword attack, since the gold mentality was extremely important to him. The sooner he could train it to its limit, the sooner he would be able to carry out his training plan. Therefore, after hearing the voice, he said lightly, 90,000. This price had obviously exceeded the bottom line of the bidder. He could only snort coldly and give up bidding. 90,000 upper-grade spirit stones going once, 90,000 upper-grade spirit stones going twice, 90,000 upper-grade spirit stones going thrice. Sold. Congratulations to the friend in VIP room 48. The auctioneer hammered his hammer 3 times, carrying a satisfied smile on his face. Soon, a staff member of the auction house brought over the jade letter for the gold resonant radiance sword attack. Yichen paid him 5 million mid-grade spirit stones and 40,000 upper-grade spirit stones before taking the jade letter. Following that, the atmosphere in the auction house became more and more intense. Every single item was extremely rare and there was no way to buy it. It was not until the sun had set that the auction finally reached its climax. Inside the secret room, the light was still on. Yichen let out a breath slowly as he held the jade letter in his palm and poured his zhenyuan into it. Oh. A picture appeared in his mind. On a boundless plain, a sword artist with an indistinct face took out his long sword. The long sword shone with a bright gold light, which kept on vibrating. Within a blink of an eye, it seemed to have vibrated for thousands of times. Even the space seemed to have resonated with it, creating ripples like water. The sword artist waved the long sword in his hand, and a bottomless ravine appeared on the plain without a sound. All of the mud seemed to have evaporated, disappearing into thin air. High frequency and sharpness. This is like a super-electric saw. Yichen could not help but feel a chill run down his spine. A normal person could cut through steel with an electric saw, but this gold resonant radiant sword attack was powered by the gold profound, which was way more powerful than an electric saw. Turning his body, the sword artist locked onto Yichen and threw out another sword attack. That endless gold light filled up Yichen's sight. Yichen felt a sharp pain in his eyes, as if his vision had been cut open. Tears started to flow out of his eyes, but he did not feel anything mentally. Gold resonant radiant sword attack, low rank profound sword attack, focusing on high frequency. As the information was reorganized, the training manual for the gold resonant radiant sword appeared in Yichen's mind. Just as he had expected, this sword attack that contained the gold mentality was indeed powerful. Once the sword attack was thrown out, the zhenyuan and sword chi would vibrate continuously, which could easily cut through the defense of the same level. Once I trained the gold resonant radiant sword attack to a certain level, even if I reached the Sea of Souls realm, I would not have to worry about not having enough ace attacks anymore. In terms of sword attacks, Yichen had 3 ace attacks, which were the Sky Thunder Cut, the Reverse Sky Thunder Cut, and the Amaranthan Nature. Although the Sky Thunder Cut was only 20 to 30% of a profound martial art, Yichen had learned a lot from Jing Aoshuan. Once he infused the 9th movement of the Sky Cloud Sword Art into the Sky Thunder Cut, it would become a real low-rank profound sword attack. Of course, if he did not learn the Thunder Profound, then the Sky Thunder Cut would not be perfected, since profound sword attacks needed the profound to be used. The Reverse Sky Thunder Cut was the twin brother of the Sky Thunder Cut. The two had completely different personalities. One attacked forward while the other attacked backward. One had to admit that the latter was a bit more powerful and full of killing intent. With a reverse sword attack, not only could it reflect the attack, it could also catch the opponent off guard. The most horrifying thing was that the Reverse Sky Thunder Cut would become more powerful as the Sky Thunder Cut got stronger. It would always be on top of the Sky Thunder Cut, but it could not be without the Sky Thunder Cut. Without the Sky Thunder Cut, the Reverse Sky Thunder Cut would lose the chance to improve, and would never be able to move forward. As for the Amaranthan Nature, it was even more powerful than the Sky Thunder Cut and the Reverse Sky Thunder Cut combined. The Green Lotus Sword Art was a top-rank Earth Realm sword art, and the power of the last movement had shocked even Yichen. It was equivalent to a 50% profound martial art, which was also why he had spent a long time to learn the 9th movement. Right now, the Amaranthan Nature was definitely Yichen's ultimate ace attack, and it could not be changed. Besides the 3 top sword movements, Yichen's body also had a Lotus Heart Sword Chi, which was extremely fast and had a powerful penetrative power. Judging on its power, it would not be any weaker than the Amaranthan Nature. Of course, it was not as mysterious as the Amaranthan Nature. The Lotus Heart Sword Chi would recover once every half an hour, and it would be able to change the whole situation in a close combat. If he could learn the Gold Resonant Radiant Sword Art as well, he would not need to learn too much. As long as he could learn it to 50%, Yichen's overall power would still continue to increase. When facing the enemy, he would have more choices to choose from, and more chances to kill his opponent. It would be very meaningful. Yichen's yard was not that big in the Thunder City, but there were a lot of scenic spots inside. There were fake mountains, green water, pavilions, gardens, and even a bamboo forest. The bamboo forest was filled with a gentle breeze, and it looked very green. On the small path in the bamboo forest, Yi Chen stood there quietly with both of his hands holding the destruction sword. In front of him was a long spear that had been stabbed into the ground. The long spear was shining brightly, giving off the vibration of a mid-rank great weapon. Oh. The blue light on the surface of the destruction sword vibrated as Yi Chen threw out a sword attack on the long spear. With a clanging sound, thousands of sparks shot out. If it were not for Yi Chen blocking it with his Zhenyuan aura, the whole bamboo forest would have been destroyed. Not good. This sword attack has only vibrated 240 times within a second, which is barely 10%. It would not be able to make a dent on the spear. Yi Chen shook his head. After training for almost 3 days, his gold resonant radiant sword art had made some progress, but it was still far from the requirement. His short-term goal would be 30%, or even 40%. Yeah, the metal is vibrating. Inadvertently, Yi Chen realized that although the long spear had stopped vibrating, it was still vibrating at a high frequency. Since the vibration was so small, it was hard to notice it with the naked eye. Yi Chen threw out another sword attack. The long spear vibrated quickly, but the vibration was getting smaller and smaller. Eventually, it turned into a vibration and the air was groaning. The mentality of gold, vibration, particles, combination. Yes, it should be like this, the mentality of letting nature take its course. Before, I was too focused on it and the improvement was too small. I did not have much comprehension either. The hardest part of training a martial art was to find the right way. If the way was right, then the training would be much easier. But if the way was wrong, then it would be a waste of time and effort. Chin. Finding the right way, Yi Chen's mind was filled with more and more ideas. He continued to wave his destruction sword, attacking the long spear at a high frequency. 5 days, 10 days, half a month, 1 month. Yi Chen had spent a whole month training his gold resonant radiant sword art. His comprehension was like a flood that could not be stopped. Meanwhile, more and more cracks appeared on the long spear, and the broken parts were getting sharper and sharper. Although the metal is a solid, the tiny particles inside are actually moving as well. The vibration can make the metal even more sturdy and more aggressive. However, I have to control it well. Otherwise, the metal will break down, and the power of the gold resonant radiant sword art will not be able to be used. No matter if it is the metal or the gold mentality, it is the same principle. Yi Chen fell into a strange state. He seemed to be able to feel the life of the destruction sword in his hand as well as its joy. In this kind of state, the training of the gold mentality came naturally. It was much easier than when he was training the thunder mentality or the wood mentality. Perhaps he should have trained the gold mentality earlier since it was a perfect match for him. Oh. The destruction sword in his hand started to vibrate, and the Zhenyuan that had been poured into it started to vibrate as well. The sword light that was being spat out was extremely horrifying, as if it could cut through space itself. Without opening his eyes, Yi Chen took a step forward and waved out a sword attack. Crack. The mid-rank long spear was cut in half. The cut was as smooth as a mirror, and the edge was sharp enough to cut through steel. However, Yi Chen did not even feel the slightest bit of hindrance when he waved out that sword attack. It was as if he had not cut through a mid-rank long spear, but a piece of wood. Chapter 485. It is indeed the gold resonant radiant sword art. I have only mastered 40% of it, but its power is already at the same level as the Amaranthan nature sword art. One sword attack is enough to break a mid-rank great weapon. Yi Chen opened his eyes and sighed. The Amaranthan nature sword art was very similar to the gold resonant radiant sword art in a certain way. For example, the power would be stacked layer by layer, making it more powerful. However, the difference was that the frequency of the Amaranthan nature sword art would be slower and longer, while the gold resonant radiant sword art would vibrate multiple times within a short period of time before exploding out instantly. There was no advantage or disadvantage between the two, but judging on the attributes, the gold resonant radiant sword art was powered by the gold profound after all. Putting the destruction sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen picked up the broken mid-rank spear and threw it into his storage ring. Speaking of which, he had already destroyed quite a lot of mid-rank weapons, all of which were damaged by his training. It was not that these mid-rank weapons were useless, but that he had not poured his Zhenyuan into them. If he had poured his Zhenyuan into them, he might not have been able to leave a dent on them, not to mention breaking them with one sword strike. I have trained my gold resonant radiant sword art to 40%, and my undying body has also trained all my internal organs. It is time to leave. Unknowingly, Yi Qin had already stayed in the Thunder City for more than 2 months. All of the young warriors who had come for the martial tea gathering had already left in the first month, including the people from the South Rudra region. Li Xiaoyun and Chu Zhongtian had left in the second month, while Murong Qingqing had left a week ago as well. She wanted to go back to her family and go into a closed-door training to train all of the demon power essence in her body. On the contrary, he had stayed until now. Master Rain, he has left? In a restaurant that was closest to the West City Gate, 2 mysterious people were sitting by the window. The one who was talking was a middle-aged man in colorful robes, who was the 5 poison ghost warrior. Master Rain nodded. As long as I want to, all of the water Yuan Qi within hundreds of miles will be my eyes. He will not be able to escape from my tracking. That's good. The 5 poison ghost general trusted Elder Rain's abilities and knew that he would not lie. However, he revealed his extraordinary power in the martial tea gathering. I'm afraid that with just the 2 of us, we might not be able to keep him here. You also know that he is not an ordinary astral reaching expert. The 5 poison ghost warrior chuckled coldly. Of course I know that. I've already made full preparations. This time he'll absolutely be unable to escape my grasp. Elder Rain raised his teacup and took a sip. 5 poison, I've already wasted a few months on you. It's time you tell me what secrets that kid has. 5 poison ghost warrior laughed. Elder Rain, I can't tell you now, but I can guarantee that I will give you all the benefits. No, you will get the same amount as me. After all, we will have many chances to work together in the future. This is our chance. Alright, I hope you won't disappoint me. Elder Rain knew the 5 poison ghost general's personality very well. He knew that he would not do anything until he saw an opportunity. Since he was so obsessed with dealing with Yi Qin, then he must have his own reasons. All he needed to do was to be prepared to accept the benefits. As for whether there would be a trap or not, Elder Rain was not worried at all. After all, he was an elder of the 9 ghost cult. After drinking half of the tea, the 2 left. The sea of clouds was surging, gathering, and dispersing randomly. A huge flying puppet was flying through the air, its speed reaching 5 times the speed of sound. Because of its extreme speed, all of the clouds in its way were shattered, forming a straight path. On the back of the flying puppet sat a young man in blue robes. It was indeed Yi Qin, who had just left the Thunder City. Using the flying puppet, one does not need to rest at all. Their stamina and spirit are always at their peak. I have to say, this is indeed a great invention. The flying puppet's battling power was not bad. If it was filled with top-rank spirit stones, it could even compete with extreme astral-reaching realm warriors. There were also 2 top-rank puppet cannons hidden inside. The power of 1 cannon was enough to flatten a town. Of course, the consumption of 1 cannon was huge as well, about 50 pieces of top-rank spirit stones worth of Yuan Qi. Even so, the biggest use of the flying puppet was not for battle but for traveling. A real top-rank battle puppet would be able to compete with normal Sea of Soul realm warriors. As for the flying puppet, it was made purely for the enjoyment of traveling. Just think about it, with a flying puppet one could sit on it and fly for months. If it were an astral-reaching realm warrior or a Sea of Soul realm warrior, who would be able to fly for months? Even if they did not die of exhaustion, they would die of suffocation. 200 li behind Yi Qin, the 5 poison ghost general and Elder Rain were following behind him. 5 poison ghost general had a bad look on his face. Bastard! Where did this brat get a flying puppet? It seems to be at least a top mid-rank flying puppet. Yi Qin had installed a mid-rank spirit stone inside the leopard-shaped flying puppet, which allowed its speed to reach 5 times the speed of sound. Therefore, 5 poison ghost general had misunderstood, thinking that it was a mid-rank flying puppet. The better the things he has, the better our harvest will be. This time we cannot let him get away. Elder Rain's face was not looking good either. No matter who it was who flew for a whole week in the sky without rest, covering 500,000 li of distance, they would not be in a good mood. Sucking in a deep breath, 5 poison ghost general turned his head and said, "We have already left the Thunder region and appeared in the mountain region. I wonder when this brat will go down to rest." Elder Rain was just about to say something when he suddenly raised his eyebrows. He went down. Blue Stone Town was one of the thousands of towns in the mountain region. Because it was close to the Hunter Mountain range, there were quite a lot of warriors coming and going. Putting away the flying puppet, Yi Qin jumped down. "Guest, please come in. Master Wang, you have not been here for a long time. Please have a seat in the room upstairs. I will serve you right away." At the entrance of the restaurant in the middle of the town, a waiter had a towel on his shoulder as he greeted the customers passionately. This huge restaurant seemed to be very busy. Although the busy waiter was very tired, he was actually very happy. This Bluestone restaurant was not a normal restaurant, and its business was very good. As a waiter here, his salary would be a couple of times higher than the other restaurants. In just a couple of years he would be able to accumulate a huge amount of wealth, which would be enough to buy his 5-year-old son a normal martial art manual, which would allow him to become a warrior in the future. Wiping his sweat, the waiter looked around and realized that another group of people were walking over. This group of people was very strange. They were all wearing bamboo hats in the middle of summer, and there was even a black gauze on the edge of the hat, which prevented people from seeing their faces. Guests, the first floor is full, but there are still a couple of seats on the second floor. The waiter carefully served them. You do not need to follow us. We will go up by ourselves. One of them said coldly. Yes, sir. Hearing that voice, the waiter could not help but shiver. What a terrifying voice. He felt like he was being stared at by the most ferocious beast. His hair stood straight up and his body went numb. The group of people came to the second floor, glanced around the almost full hall, then walked towards the room on the side. What are you doing? This room is ours, get out. The middle-aged man who was called Master Wang by the waiter was very annoyed. He stared at the uninvited guests in front of him. A man in a bamboo hat walked out and slightly stomped his foot on the ground. This Master Wang was blown away while puking out blood and was stuck on the wall. Piss off. The cold voice made everyone in the room tremble. Master Wang was one of the few clasping Yuan realm martial artists in this town, but he was so weak. Master, please calm down, we will leave now, right now. After helping Lord Wang to his feet, everyone in the private room left. Let's sit down. The leading man waved his hand, and the chairs were arranged neatly. He then sat down in the main seat. Outside the restaurant, another customer arrived. Young warrior, please come in, there are seats on the second floor. It was the first time for the waiter to see such an outstanding young man, so he was very friendly. Yi Chen gave the waiter a piece of silver and said, lead the way. All right. The waiter walked in front of Yi Chen with his back bent, leading him to the second floor. After finding a clean table and sitting down, Yi Chen ordered, bring me a pot of your best wine and some side dishes. All right, I will bring it right away. The waiter hurried downstairs. Taking a sip of the tea on the table, Yi Chen looked around and found that there were quite a lot of martial artists in the restaurant, but most of them were at the condensing reality realm. All the clasping Yuan realm martial artists were in the rooms. The innermost room was blocked by soul power. Was it a sea of soul realm martial artists? Shaking his head, Yi Chen didn't care about it. Although Bluestone Town was relatively remote, it didn't mean that no sea of soul realm martial artists would come here. After flying for so long, he had to come down to rest and eat some good wine. Soon the wine and dishes were served. Yi Chen buried his head in the food and started to eat. Although we destroyed the Wang clan this time, we didn't obtain many bloodline crystals. Moreover, we didn't find the two most outstanding descendants of the Wang clan. According to the clan's intelligence, these two have already awakened the six-headed snake bloodline. It will be troublesome to let them mature. The leader of the bamboo hat men said indifferently. The left man said, Sixth Elder, it's only two six-headed snake bloodlines. Even if they grow up, they won't be able to shake our family. No, prevention is better than cure. This is the purpose of the family. Therefore, either we don't do it or we do it cleanly. Sixth Elder is right. Sixth Elder is right. The Wang clan used to be a king clan a long time ago. Although our clan has the strength of a king clan, it was only in the last 100 years. The Wang clan has fallen and become a commoner clan. But it's hard to say that they don't have the foundation to make a comeback. Especially since the bloodline crystals obtained by the Wang clan were much less than expected. I suspect that they are on those two descendants of the Wang clan. In the vast sea of people, finding a family is easy, but finding two people is too difficult. The leading man shook his head. No rush. This time the mission was rushed, and the family didn't have time to send the Blue Eye Tracker. If nothing unexpected happens, the Blue Eye Tracker will arrive in 3 days. With their help, tracking down the people with the six-headed snake bloodline will be a piece of cake. The Blue Eye Tracker will also come. Everyone was slightly surprised. All of a sudden, the leader of the bamboo hat men frowned. What's wrong? Sixth Elder? The other man asked. Not good, someone wants to attack the restaurant. Boom. A giant toad condensed from the purple mist hit the restaurant. Purple mist escaped from the toad's body, and from far away, there were already people foaming at the mouth and collapsing on the ground. Meanwhile, the restaurant that came into contact with the toad melted like cheese, and the purple mist surged. Chapter 486. Poison Chi Attack. Yi Chen's expression changed as he took out his long sword and threw out a slash at the toad. The toad was split into two halves, but it soon merged back together. It then opened its huge mouth and spat out a 10-meter-long purple tongue towards Yi Chen. Seeking death. Looking at the huge number of people in the restaurant, Yi Chen's expression turned gloomy. The sword in his hand was waved out at a speed faster than human eyes could see, filling the air with sword shadows. The toad was shredded into a thin mist and dissipated. But in the next moment, the broken restaurant suddenly creaked, and the people who were leaning against the window were dumbfounded. It turned out that at some point, a huge purple mist snake had wrapped around the restaurant, and was about to wrap around its body and kill everyone in the restaurant. This poison chi can even corrode genuine easily. Who could be so cruel as to kill everyone in the restaurant? Yi Chen did not need to think to know that it was the same person who had ambushed him last time. Unfortunately, he did not have the chance to meet him last time, and he did not expect to find him again this time. Awoo awoo awoo. A horrifying wolf howl was heard as a violent chi flow burst out from the innermost private room. The chi flow broke through the walls and spread out in all directions, blowing away the purple mist snake. Another kind of bloodline? Yi Chen looked over and saw that the place where the private room used to be was now empty. What was exposed in front of him was a group of men in hats. They had an extremely creepy aura, and behind their backs there were countless huge wolf shadows. They were different from normal demonic wolves with horrifying blue eyes and white fur. They were indeed the legendary blue-eyed white wolves, the kind that had disappeared from the continent for a long time. Lizard body, dragon head shadow, three-headed snake shadow, blue-eyed white wolf shadow. What kind of bloodline is this? Why are they so strange? Yi Chen furrowed his brows. Most of the information that the warlord had injected into his mind was related to cultivation or things related to cultivation. There wasn't everything else. There was no end to the poisonous gas attacks. Just as the purple mist snakes were scattered, countless purple mist spiders the size of human heads appeared. The purple mist spiders were extremely fast. Their 8 legs moved as fast as lightning, and they could even make people hallucinate. Thus, in a flash, the only people left in the restaurant were Yi Chen and the bamboo hat men. The restaurant was quickly corroded and melted by the poisonous gas. Without the obstruction of the wall, Yi Chen and the man in bamboo hat were exposed. Bastard! An intense killing aura burst out from Yi Chen's body. As far as the eye could see, not only the restaurant, but the entire Bluestone town had been enveloped by the purple poisonous gas. It was like a purple fog was spreading everywhere. Spreading out his soul power, on the streets, in the residential buildings, in the tea houses, in the shops, there were tens of thousands of corpses. Tens of thousands of corpses were first corroded into white bones, and then turned into ashes. Yi Chen's method was so cruel that it made people's hair stand on end. And the purpose of all this was just to deal with Yi Chen. Just to deal with me, you actually massacred the entire town. Even if you don't want to find me, I will find you. A horrifying sword intent shot up into the sky. The purple fog was torn open. Yi Chen held the sword with both of his hands and waved it out heavily. Crack. The Bluestone town was suddenly split open, and the purple fog area was divided into two. Using his movement art, Yi Chen flew towards the tunnel without any poisonous gas. Only when he got out of the town would he be able to find the real body of the poisoner. However, after he had flown out for dozens of meters, the tunnel was closed up immediately. Countless purple mist centipedes rushed over, one after another, like a tide. Yi Chen looked calm. He turned his body in the air and tried to break through to the top. Psst, psst, psst. It was a dead end up there as well. Countless huge purple mist snakes were swimming in the fog. They were so dense that it looked like an inescapable net. This is a formation. Let's get out of here. The leading man in bamboo hat could tell that the poisoner's target was Yi Chen. Therefore he gave up on the idea of killing Yi Chen. He did not think that Yi Chen would be able to escape from this formation. Of course, if the poisoner did not know what was good for him and wanted to kill them as well, then he should not blame him for ruining his plan. So. The man in bamboo hat had the white wolf shadow to protect him, which made his speed extremely fast. The poisoner obviously did not make a stupid decision and opened up a tunnel for them. A person's genuine cannot be this rich. This is a formation. Yi Chen was not stupid. He knew that he had been trapped by a formation. There were two ways to break it. One was to break it with brute force, which meant that he would have to rely on his overwhelming power to break the formation. There was no need to think about anything else. The other way was to break it with brute force. Since the formation was brute force, one would naturally be able to find a way to break it. Down there. Yichen suddenly thought of something. He twisted his feet and disappeared into the ground like a beam of light. Outside of the town that was covered in purple mist, the ghost warrior sneered, "How could I not know about this hole? The 5 Poison Great Formation goes 10,000 meters underground. From now on, this place will become a forbidden place. No one will be able to live in it for 1,000 years." Master Rain looked in another direction and said, "They are coming. This group of people is not simple. They seem to have some powerful bloodline. I will try not to mess with them if I can." The ghost warrior was very scared of the men in bamboo hats. Otherwise he would not have let them out. He was afraid that they would treat him as an enemy and cause trouble. The men in bamboo hats stopped 100 meters away. The leading man said coldly, "You two are very skilled. You have set up a 5 Poison Great Formation without anyone noticing and poisoned an entire town to death." The ghost warrior chuckled while activating the formation. "That brat and I have a grudge. In order to take care of him, I have no choice but to do so. As for you guys, I hope you will forgive us for our offense." You think you can forgive us just because you say so? That is way too easy." One of the men in bamboo hats sneered. Master Rain shook his head and took out a top-rank weapon from his storage ring. He threw it over and said, "This is your compensation." Reaching out to catch the dazzling high-grade artifact, the leader of the bamboo hat men felt his blood boiling. The reason for this was not because of the high-grade artifact, but because something was calling him. It was the green-eyed trackers. Had they come 3 days earlier? "Let's go." Putting away the top-rank weapon, the leading man turned to leave without saying anything. The others had also sensed the calling from afar, so they followed right behind him. Strange, they seemed to have something to do? Master Rain looked confused. The ghost warrior laughed. "It would be great if they had something to do. Right now, even the sky is helping us. There is no reason for that brat to not fall. Once I get what I want, I will turn him into a poison corpse. Will be very interesting. Whether it will be interesting or not, I do not know. I only know that if you do not try harder, you will not be able to trap him anymore." From Master Rain's direction, he could clearly see the sword chi within the purple mist area, tearing apart the giant snakes, centipedes, and toads that were made of poison chi. The 5 Poison Great spell requires 625 highly poisonous crystals. I spent 10 years to collect all of them. How could it be broken this easily? Although the ghost warrior was very confident in the 5 Poison Great spell, he did not slow down at all. He continued to push his Zhen Yuan, causing the purple poisonous chi to form into poisonous creatures to attack Yi Chen. He was using the advantage of numbers to cancel out Yi Chen's attacking advantage. Inside the purple mist, Yi Chen's protective Zhen Yuan was continuously being corroded, and the rate at which his Zhen Yuan was being drained was increasing. He was not a Sea of Soul Realm expert, so his Zhen Yuan was not as rich as his opponents, nor was it as pure. Regardless of his battle power, his Zhen Yuan defense was indisputable. Facing this purple poisonous chi that was everywhere, the only thing Yi Chen could do was to use his protective Zhen Yuan to defend against it and then think of a way to get out. As for breaking through it with tricks, it would be impossible since he did not know much about spells. If it were that easy to break through, then it would not be a spell at all. I can't do it underground. The soil has already been corroded by the poisonous chi, and the friction with the protective Zhen Yuan would be even more intense. The sky would not work either since the poisonous chi is the thickest there. It seems like all of the poisonous chi is rising up into the air and spreading down. I guess I will have to break through from the front. After making up his mind, the blue protective Zhen Yuan around Yi Chen's body shone with a layer of gold light. It turned out that he had activated the top-ranked defensive gold armor's buff effect. Then he put his longsword back into its scabbard and took out a green longsword from his storage ring. It was a top-ranked great sword, which he had gotten from killing the green-robed sword artist in the parallel space battlefield. He had never used it before. With a top-ranked defensive weapon on his body and a top-rank longsword in his hand, Yi Chen's overall power had increased drastically. Even if he were to face a spirit warrior, he would have 30% chance of escaping unscathed. With a wave of the sword, countless poisonous creatures formed from the purple mist were shattered, revealing a straight sword path. Top-rank defensive weapon, top-rank longsword. This brat is even richer than I thought. The poisonous qi in the purple mist region was like the ghost warrior's eyes and ears. Therefore, all of Yi Chen's movements were under his surveillance. Right then, seeing Yi Chen put on a top-rank weapon, his face darkened. He pushed his Zhen Yuan to its limit and formed a poisonous creature army within the purple mist region, attacking toward Yi Chen. The Blue Stone Town is not that big. The purple mist region is not as scary as the Forbidden Zone. I will use my protective Zhen Yuan to last for a while, then break through the spell and rush out. A cold light flashed in Yi Chen's eyes as the protective Zhen Yuan around his body became thicker and firmer. He then extended his body and rushed toward the poisonous creature army. The poisonous creature army landed on Yi Chen's protective Zhen Yuan, making weird popping sounds. It sounded like an egg hitting a rock or tea splashing on the ground. Along with it, a sizzling sound of corrosion could be heard continuously. His protective Zhen Yuan was getting thinner and thinner as Yi Chen was surrounded by the poisonous creature army. Gold Resonant Radiant Sword Attack. Without any pause, the long sword in Yi Chen's hand vibrated, spitting out a sword light that seemed to be able to cut through the space as he threw out a sword attack. Boom! The purple mist region was pierced through, and a gap was torn open in the poisonous creature army. Bastard! Block it from me. The ghost warrior's face was twisted as he tried to block Yi Chen back. However, Yi Chen had already reached the edge of the purple mist region, and there was no way he could block it. With a shoo sound, Yi Chen appeared outside the purple mist region and saw the ghost warrior and Master Rain. Master Rain's face was slightly surprised. He did not expect Yi Chen to break through the spell so quickly. Little brother, you cannot win against us. As long as you hand over what he wants, I can let you go. How you choose will depend on whether or not you are controlled by anger. Chapter 487. What is it? Yi Chen really wanted to know what this guy wanted. He did not remember ever interacting with this guy before. The ghost warrior gave up on activating the 5 poison great array and said with a cold face, "Hand over the thing you got from under the stone men's camp. Do you know what I am talking about?" Hearing him, Yi Chen squinted his eyes. It seemed like this guy was the same as him, also searching for the secret of the undying body. However, he had never seen him before, so he must be hiding in the dark. This kind of person was the most dangerous. He was like a poisonous snake hiding in the grass, ready to bite you at any second. You would not even know how and why you died. What if I don't want to hand it over? Zhen Yuan slowly but powerfully operated inside his body. Yi Chen's spirit was highly concentrated, ready to launch a fatal attack at any second. If you don't hand it over, you will wish you were dead. Even if you manage to escape this time, how many times can you escape? By then you will not be the only one who will suffer. Your friends, your women, your families will all suffer as well. They will have to bear the consequences that they should not have to bear. I guess they will hate you even before they die. As he spoke, the 5 poison ghost warriors started to laugh. Although they did not have the absolute confidence to keep Yi Chen here, it would be impossible for Yi Chen to do anything to them. Oh yeah. Even if you don't come for me, I will come for you. You are destined to be a ghost under my sword. His body suddenly piercing out, Yi Chen threw out a sword attack. It was not a profound sense martial art, nor was it a powerful killing attack. It was just a normal sword attack. However, with the enhancement of the fast mentality, it was unbelievably fast and accurate. Once the sword was thrown out, the crescent moon-like sword chi had already approached the ghost warrior's body. Master Rain's senses and reflexes were 1 level higher than the ghost warrior's, so he had been watching out for Yi Chen for a long time. Seeing him throw out his sword without any hesitation, he did not show any other emotions except for being a little surprised at the speed. A metal ring appeared in his hand, which vibrated and brought up a dreamy water wave. It blocked in front of the ghost warrior, clashing with the tip of the sword. Boom! Water splashed everywhere as the ghost warrior was blown away, breaking 3 huge trees in a row. At the same time, Yi Chen changed his sword aura. He was like a swimming fish, avoiding the most powerful shockwave and attacking towards Master Rain, who was trying to stop him. Ding 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 pew. The first 3 sword attacks were all blocked by Master Rain's ring, while the last one brushed past the ring and left a bloody mark on Master Rain's shoulder. Pop. Master Rain's body was like the moon in the water, disappearing into nothingness. When he reappeared, he was already hundreds of meters away, dodging Yi Chen's continuous attacks. Turning his head to look at the wound on his shoulder, Master Rain's face darkened. Even though he had already considered Yi Chen as a powerful opponent, he did not expect that he would be at a disadvantage right from the start. Brat, you're courting death. The five poisons ghost general, who was sent flying, had a livid expression. He flicked his sleeves and corroded the branches and leaves that were blocking him into ashes. Then he bounced up from the ground and slammed his palm forward. 5 poison godly palm. The purple Zhen Yuan separated into 5 parts, turning into different shapes in the air. One was a poisonous snake, one was a centipede, one was a spider, one was a scorpion, and the last one was a toad. The 5 Zhen Yuan poisonous creatures looked extremely lifelike. They all attacked towards Yi Chen while showing their fangs and claws. Break. Besides the fact that the ghost warrior was a bit more powerful, his battling power was nothing in Yi Chen's eyes. Facing this poisonous palm attack, Yi Chen waved his long sword in the air. The 5 poisonous creatures seemed to have been hit in their weak spots. Their bodies twisted and exploded, while rolling purple chi corroded the ground in front of them and created a huge pit. 1 ring in the moon. Master Rain's attack had arrived as well. That metal ring vibrated in the air and turned into a huge green halo. It twisted the water yuan qi and looked like a deep ocean whirlpool, squeezing Yi Chen in the middle. It then suddenly wrapped around him, trying to lock down Yi Chen's movement. Yi Chen knew that he could not let himself be trapped by the green halo. Even if he could break it, it would still take a lot of time. During that time, even if he had 9 lives, it would not be enough. Psich. The emerald long sword was waved up, and the green halo was sliced open. 2 ring sun lock. Another metal ring appeared in Master Rain's hand. As he threw it out, the 2 metal rings intertwined with each other, turning into layers of green light rings. It was hard to tell which one was the real one and which one was the fake one. The rings spread out in the air, and the number of rings increased drastically once again. The bigger rings covered the smaller ones, and the smaller ones were connected to the bigger ones, covering the entire sky, layer upon layer. Troublesome indeed. Yi Chen frowned hard. Master Rain's battling power was extremely horrifying, and he was almost at the level of a spirit warrior. Plus, there was still the 5 poison ghost warrior whose battling power was not that impressive, but his poison art was extremely vicious. The 2 of them had given him a huge pressure that he had never felt before. Sword step, find the gap. Using his body as a sword, Yi Chen turned into a beam of sword light, flying through the gaps of the countless rings. Whenever he ran into something that he could not dodge, he would throw out a sword attack. What kind of step art is this? Master Rain was shocked as he watched Yi Chen fly out of his attacking range. The ghost warrior did not expect Yi Chen to be able to break through Master Rain's 2-ring sun lock so easily. As far as he knew, once this attack was performed, even those who were slightly more powerful than Master Rain would not be able to fight back. Mountain melting palm. Putting his left hand on his right arm, the ghost warrior's Zhen Yuan increased drastically. A purple swirl appeared in the middle of his palm, looking like a mountain. He threw it towards Yi Chen. Amaranthan nature. Yi Chen was not afraid at all. He performed his amaranthan nature and stabbed out with his sword. Oh. The purple Zhen Yuan had been pierced through, and a sword hole appeared in the center of the ghost warrior's palm. Just when his palm was about to be pierced through, Master Rain's reinforcement arrived just in time. One of his metal rings had managed to deflect Yi Chen's long sword while the other one was thrown out. Missing his attack, Yi Chen hurried to back out, avoiding the incoming ring. No. One of them has such a powerful poison art, and the other has such a weird movement. If I do not take care of one of them, I will not be able to gain the upper hand. Yi Chen's eyes sparkled as he glanced at Master Rain and the ghost warrior. Master Rain said coldly, "Give me that thing and I will give you a peaceful life. Otherwise you will see this kind of scene again in the future. Not only you but also your friends and family. I think they are not as powerful as you, right?" The killing intent in his eyes was not hidden at all as Yi Chen sneered. "Even if I hand it over, you might not let me go. Only by removing the root of the problem will you be able to solve the problem in the future. Am I right? Since you insist, then do not blame us." Master Rain neither admitted nor denied it, but he agreed with Yi Chen deep down in his heart. Yi Chen's potential was way too horrifying. Once he grew up, even he and the ghost warrior together would not be his opponent. Therefore, for the peace of the future, they could only chase after Yi Chen without giving up. Asking Yi Chen to give up now was only to increase their own power. "Brat, this is the path you have chosen. Do not regret it in the future. I, the ghost warrior, have plenty of ways to torture people." The ghost warrior knew that he would not be Yi Chen's opponent, so he let Master Rain be the main attacker, and he would help from the side. After all, he knew that his most powerful art was his poison art, not his fighting power. The long sword in his hand was pointed at the ground, the sword light shooting out. Yi Chen secretly activated his immortal body and switched to using his soul power to leave a soul mark on his internal organs. The effect of the soul mark was way stronger than the mental mark, and it could last for half an hour. During this time, the internal injuries would be negligible, unless the opponent's attack power was beyond his immortal body's limit. I have said it before, you will be a ghost under my sword. Yi Chen gave up on fighting with Master Rain and attacked the ghost warrior directly. Master Rain frowned. The ghost warrior could not die. If he died, he would not be able to control Yi Chen anymore. Only by working together would he have a chance. Boom, boom, boom. Throwing out the metal ring, Master Rain started his most aggressive attack on Yi Chen. The second he got close to the ghost warrior, Yi Chen suddenly grabbed the other 3 swords with his left hand and swung them back. It was the reverse sky thunder cut. The sound of metal exploding was heard along with thousands of sparks. After blowing away the ring with 1 sword attack, Yi Chen crossed his 2 swords and performed his dual sword art. Not good. His target is me. Master Rain was shocked at Yi Chen's cunning. He did not have time to take back the ring and threw out a punch. Boom. Yi Chen's attack was weaker than he had expected. Although that punch was the full power of Master Rain, it was still not as powerful as the ring attack. However, Yi Chen was blown away like an arrow leaving the bow. In the next second he appeared 10 steps away from the ghost warrior. Damn it. This brat's target is still 5 poison. Fighting with me was just to cover up his goal and create a fog to make 5 poison lower his guard. Master Rain was shocked at Yi Chen's battling experience. It was not something that could be gained through training. It would require a top talent, since people with weak battling talent would not be able to make such a plan in such a critical moment. Killing 5 poison will leave you with a wounded body. Let's see what you will choose. Master Rain roared in anger as he used both of his hands to control the ring that was not far away and threw it at Yi Chen. He was confident that Yi Chen would not have a good time under his attack. Yi Chen did not care about the ring behind him at all. His emerald long sword started to vibrate at an extreme speed as the edge of the sword light was covered in a layer of gold. Gold resonant radiance attack. With a flash of gold light, the ghost warrior was sliced in half. A red line extended from his head to his crotch before blood splashed everywhere. He did not even know that he was already dead. He wanted to attack back at Yi Chen, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not activate his Zhen Yuan and fell heavily onto the ground. Boom. The second he killed the ghost warrior, Yi Chen's back was also hit by a ring attack. As for the other one, he had dodged it. Puking out blood from the corner of his mouth, Yi Chen turned around calmly. Master Rain's face was twisted as he said, "Your internal organs should have been broken, right? How much power do you have left? 50%? 30%? After killing the ghost warrior, I want you to die with him. This is the wrong choice you made, the wrong choice to put yourself in death." Chapter 488. 5 Poison Ghost Warrior. I did not expect you to be the leader of the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 evil cult. I did not expect you to have already reached the Sea of Souls realm. Unfortunately, you still died in my hands. Speaking of which, I have already killed 4 ghost warriors of the 9 evil cult. I wonder what kind of relationship you have with them? The ghost warriors who had died in Yi Chen's hands were the Ghost Corpse Man, the Blood Demon, the White Bone Ghost Warrior, and the 5 Poison Ghost Warrior. He guessed that Master Rain might be one of the ghost warriors as well, but he had surpassed the 5 Poison Ghost Warrior. In Master Rain's eyes, Yi Chen was already a dead man. Therefore, he said without hesitation, "I guess there is no harm in telling you. I am the outer master of the 9 evil cult, Yu Tian." Outer master Yu Tian? Very good. Ghost warriors are not powerful enough for me anymore. Now, it is the master level warriors of the 9 evil cult. Huh. Arrogant. When you were at your peak, I might have been a bit scared. But now I can kill you with one hand. 2 Ring Sun Lock. Although Yu Tian said that, he did not dare to be careless at all. Although it was rare for someone to fail miserably, it was not impossible. Even a lion would use all of its power to catch a rabbit. He would not make this kind of mistake, at least not before his opponent fell down. The earth-shattering green halos sealed the area, layer upon layer, the big halos encircling the small halos. Blood leaked out of Yi Chen's mouth, but he did not try to dodge. It seemed like he could not dodge at all. The green longsword in his hand kept slicing out, stabbing out, and trying to break through the blocking of the light. It gave people the feeling that he was a small boat on the ocean, and could be destroyed at any second. Seeing that, Yu Tian let out a breath of relief. It seemed like Yi Chen was indeed badly wounded, but he did not know how bad it was. There were a lot of green light rings and their trajectories were constantly changing. However, Yi Chen's sword arts were fast, brutal, and accurate. No matter how the green light rings changed, they could not get close to him, not to mention locking him down. Let's see how long you can last, Yu Qiansha. Sneering, Yu Tian quickly formed hand seals with both hands. As he formed hand seals, the water yuan qi in the air started to move, and the sky turned gray. Then rain arrows started to rain down. It was as if thousands of arrows had been shot at the same time, or as if hailstones were falling. Reverse sky thunder cut. Yi Chen held his sword in a reverse grip and slashed downwards. The rings and rain arrows within a radius of 3 feet bounced off like a hollow ball. After doing all this, Yi Chen opened his mouth and spat out a large mouthful of blood. He looked dispirited. This is the moment. Yu Tian suddenly felt that he shouldn't kill Yi Chen right now. He couldn't kill him before he obtained the secret that the Ghost General 5 Poisons wanted. Otherwise, he wouldn't have wasted a few months following the Ghost General 5 Poisons around. With a thought, Yu Tian's next attack weakened by 30%. A majestic water dragon, propelled by his true essence, rushed out with an imposing aura that seemed as if it could break through everything. Water Dragon Kill. This attack was Yu Tian's most powerful single-target profound sense martial art. The first loop Moon Cover and second loop Sunlock were ceiling attacks, the Rain Thousand Kill was a group attack, and the Water Dragon Kill was the real ace attack that he used against powerful enemies. Even if he had only used 70% of his Zhen Yuan, it would still be enough to wound Yi Chen badly. Boom. The moment the water dragon rushed out, a forked lightning appeared in the sky, which was extremely shocking. Finally here. A sharp cold light flashed through Yi Chen's eyes, as if someone had waved out a fatal sword attack from within. The emerald long sword vibrated at an unimaginable frequency. Within a second, it had vibrated at least 1,000 times. The blue sword light was covered with a layer of golden light. The golden light continued to flow, shooting out along with Yi Chen's attack. Gold Resonant Radiant Sword Attack. Without any obstruction, the majestic water dragon was directly split in half, shooting out from both sides of Yi Chen and into the distance. What? Impossible. Could it be? An unbelievable look flashed through Yu Tian's eyes. A thought flashed through his mind and he could not help but think, could it be that it was all an illusion? Yi Chen wasn't injured at all, and that so-called injury was just an act to make me lower my guard and attack recklessly? But my ring had clearly landed on his back. Even if he was wearing a top-ranked defensive item, the power would still have passed through. There was no way he would not be injured at all. What is going on? Yu Tian's mind was in a mess. He felt like he had run into something incomprehensible. If the ghost warrior were here, he would definitely not make this kind of mistake because he was sure that Yi Chen had gotten the undying body training method. Therefore, he would definitely be on guard against it during the battle. However, he was too cautious and did not tell Yu Tian the truth, afraid that the latter would get rid of him and take all the benefits for himself. Yu Tian had predicted everything, but he had not expected Yi Chen to have trained the undying body. This mistake would not be changed by his will. The gold resonant radiant sword was like a hot knife cutting through butter. After cutting open the water dragon, its remaining power did not disappear as it landed heavily on Yu Tian's chest. Chin. A burning spark appeared on Yu Tian's chest as a wave of power rushed into his body through the mid-rank defensive item. He could no longer hold the hot blood in his mouth as he puked it out. Brat, you are so cunning. His body flying backward, Yu Tian turned into a beam of light and tried to escape. You think you can run away? Yi Chen performed his movement art and chased after him. One was heavily wounded while the other was perfectly fine. The distance between them was getting shorter and shorter, and it was already within Yi Chen's attack range. The sword chi shot out as Yi Chen threw out a sword attack. Yu Tian seemed to have grown eyes on the back of his head as his body flashed once, avoiding the incoming sword chi. However, his speed was once again slowed down. No, if this continues, I will be beaten to death. I will have to use some essence blood and perform the blood escape. With that thought in mind, Yu Tian's body shook once as his speed increased drastically. The Zhen Yuan that he had shot out contained a bright red color, and his face had turned even paler. The purity of Yi Chen's Zhen Yuan was not as pure as Yu Tian's after all. Earlier, when the latter was heavily wounded, he could still catch up slowly. But now, the gap would only get bigger and bigger and he would eventually lose his chance. Boom. The protective Zhen Yuan outside his body shattered, turning into countless light dots floating in the air. The broken pieces then merged together and formed into waves of sharp sword light, making him look like a sword god riding a sword. Go! The sword finger on his right hand suddenly pierced out, and the sword light shot out with Yi Qin. This kind of speed was already infinitely close to the speed of an attack. It was like a beam of light cutting through the sky, fast like a dream. What kind of secret art is this? Yu Youqian's face turned pale as he tried his best to perform the blood escape. A beam of blood light and a wave of sword light chased each other with all their might. Overall, Yi Qin's speed was still a bit faster. Before, the success rate of my sword light flying art was less than 10%. But now it has reached 100% without any delay. Back in the Blood Demon battlefield, Yi Qin had been chased by 4 extreme astral-reaching realm warriors. When he was heavily wounded, he used the sword light flying art and escaped. After that, Yi Qin had been training the sword light flying art hard, hoping that one day he would be able to use it freely. And this goal had been achieved a long time ago. However, he never had the chance to use it because it had to be used in a situation where he was running for his life or being chased. After all, using the sword light flying art required him to remove his protective Zhen Yuan. The Blue Stone Town was located in the south of the mountain region, less than 30,000 miles away from the border. Unknowingly, the two had left the mountain region and arrived above a mountain range. Their speed was already more than 10 times faster than the speed of sound. If you kill me, you will be chased by all of the powerful warriors from the Nine Ghost cult. Your family and your martial school will be destroyed. Do you think it is worth it? Even if Yu Tian was a Sea of Souls realm warrior and had trained his spirit body, the spirit blood inside his body was not endless. After half an hour, the blood inside his body was about to be used up. If it continued like this, even without Yi Qin chasing after him, he would not be able to live past tomorrow. Yi Qin sneered. The Nine Ghost cult had been destroyed decades ago. The remaining people are all like rats on the street. Do you think I would be scared? The remaining powerful warriors of our Nine Ghost cult are way beyond your imagination. Don't look for your own death and bring danger to your family. Leaving you alive would be the real danger. Damn. Even if I die, I want you to die with me. Yu Tian gave up on running for his life. He was ready to die with Yi Qin while he still had some power left. The second he turned around, a cyan-colored sword light with a hint of gold flashed past. He felt his neck go numb as he saw a headless body far away from him. Oh. After killing Yu Tian with one sword attack, Yi Qin let out a breath. He was indeed an outer master of the Nine Ghost cult, who was extremely hard to deal with. If it were not for the fact that he had a part of the undying body, and pretended to be weak, he might not even be able to wound him badly, let alone kill him. Reaching out his hand, Yu Youqian's storage ring landed in his hand. Yi Qin did not even look at it before throwing it into his own storage ring. This should be the approaching Star Mountain, right? After this mountain it would be the Star Regional Lake. I have not been to the Snake Island for a couple of years, so I wonder what kind of realm Wang's snake has reached. Back then Yi Qin had a grudge against the floating island, but he was afraid that they would vent their anger on the Wang family. Therefore he did not try to contact Wang's snake. After such a long time, the floating island should have already gotten over the grudge, so it was time for him to go to the Snake Island. He did not hurry on with his journey. Instead, he found a quiet mountain and sat down to recover his Zhen Yuan. Hundreds of miles away from the Blue Rock town in the mountain region, a group of people in hats gathered together. Most of them were wearing white robes, but only 3 of them were in black. Did you bring the Wang family's blood? One of them asked. Yes. The leading man in white took out a transparent glass bottle from his storage ring, which was filled with a blood-red liquid. Taking over the glass bottle, the man in black opened it and smelled it, then passed it to the other 2 men next to him. After the 3 had smelled it, the one who spoke earlier said, "All right, we have smelled the Wang family's blood. As long as they are not more than 100,000 miles away, they will not be able to escape even if they are at the end of the world. Now take us to the Snake Island. With the power of those 2 descendants of the Wang family, they might not be able to get more than 100,000 miles away in a couple of days. Follow me." The group of men in hats flew out, heading towards the south. Chapter 489. The Star Regional Lake was a continent-level lake. Even if it was not the top 3 in the whole True Spirit continent, it would at least be in the top 5. It had an area of millions of miles, which would be more than enough to put the whole South Rudra region in. And this was only a lake filled with water. As such a huge lake, there were countless small islands on the Star Regional Lake. They were like stars in the sky, and one could be seen after a certain distance. The Wind Island was a small island that was hundreds of thousands of miles away from the Snake Island. There were millions of people living on the island, and it was quite prosperous. Inside a luxurious restaurant, Yi Chen sat by the window drinking tea while listening to the information exchange between the warriors. Have you heard? The Wang family on the Snake Island near the Black Dragon Empire had been killed? Not even a chicken or a dog was left alive. Even the Snake Island had lost a layer. Killed? Who would be so cruel? That Wang family was a rank 9 family after all. How could they be killed just like that? Plus, I heard that in the past couple of years 2 young warriors had appeared in the Wang family, and they were both at the astral reaching realm. If a rank 8 martial institution wanted to take care of them, they would have to suffer a lot. You are a bit too short-sighted. For us, the Wang family is a huge beast. But for those powerful warriors, they could be killed just like that. Whatever the warriors in the restaurant were saying next, Yi Chen did not hear it, because he had already left the restaurant. In the sky, Yi Chen rode on his flying puppet, traveling at 10 times the speed of sound. Who did the Wang family offend to be killed? How is Wang's snake? There were a lot of questions in Yi Chen's head. He did not expect to hear the news of the Wang family being killed just when he was about to go to the Snake Island. Although he did not have much feelings for the Wang family, and his relationship with Wang's snake was not that deep either. But the Wang family had given him a 3,000-year-old blood sunflower after all, and Wang's snake had been protected by him before. Without knowing why, Yi Chen thought of those men in hats. There was no reason for him to think of them. Wang's snake, you did not look like a short-lived person before. You should not die this easily, right? If you die, you will have nothing left. Wang's snake's potential was something that Yi Chen knew very well. He could tell a thing or two from Tuabaku, and Wang's snake was even younger than him. Whoosh! The flying puppet shot forward as fast as a flash of light. From afar, Yi Chen saw the Snake Island. The Snake Island that used to be so tall was now shorter. It seemed like the top had been sliced off by a knife. However, judging from the cut marks, it was not a knife but a claw. It was torn by a claw. A large number of martial artists stood on the uneven surface. You didn't see what happened that day. A group of people dressed in white and wearing bamboo hats surrounded the Wang family and killed every single one of them. Not even the children were spared. In the end, when they were about to leave, the leader of the group waved his hand and the Wang family on the Snake Island was directly wiped out and turned into what you see now. That's too cruel. They didn't even leave a complete corpse. Sai, this world is a world where the strong are respected. The words of the strong are absolute. If they say they will destroy you, then they will destroy you. There is no room for discussion. A peak late astral reaching expert has arrived. A lot of people had noticed Yi Chen, who had a powerful chi. Yi Chen had heard everyone's conversation, especially the words men in white. If it were not a coincidence, then the men in white that he had met in the Bluestone town would be the main culprit who had killed the Wang family. This guess was not without reason. First of all, it was not that there were no people in white, but for a group of them to appear, the chance would be very small. Secondly, the men in white had the blue-eyed white wolf bloodline, while the Wang family had the multi-headed snake bloodline. The two of them were somehow related. Therefore, Yi Chen was pretty sure that it was those men in white who had killed the Wang family. This is indeed tricky. Those men in white are not easy to deal with, especially the leader. His power seems to be no weaker than Yu Youtian's. Yi Chen frowned. He knew how powerful Yu Youtian was. Perhaps he would not be afraid of one man in white, but a group of them would have to be careful. Plus, people with this kind of bloodline would be extremely powerful. Even Yi Chen did not have the confidence to win against that leader. Let's not worry about this for now. Let's look for some clues. Between his eyebrows, Yi Chen let out his soul power quietly. 30 miles. 50 miles. 80 miles. 90 miles. Not until he had let his soul power reach 90 miles deep into the Snake Island did Yi Chen start to feel that his soul power was not able to reach out anymore. There is a slight space vibration, but it is very weak. His expression changed as Yi Chen left the cut surface and came to the middle of the mountain, allowing his soul power to reach even deeper. Realizing that there was nothing wrong yet, he dove right into the bottom of the lake. There is a transporting stone door there? Yi Chen had finally found the source of the vibration. It was actually 360 miles below the cut surface. If it were not for the fact that Yi Chen's soul power was more powerful than most of the Sea of Souls realm warriors, he might not be able to find it. Thinking about it, it was not that the leading man in white did not use his soul power to search. It was just that the range of his soul power was limited, and the stone door was too deep, which was why he did not notice it. Of course, the most important reason was that Yi Qin had trained the void-shattering finger art, which contained the space mentality, which made him extra sensitive to the space vibration coming from the stone door. Without much hesitation, Yi Qin pushed his protective Zhenyuan and squeezed into the mud at the bottom of the lake, approaching the stone door. Soon Yi Qin arrived in front of the stone door. The stone door was located in an underground stone room. There was no way to go down from the top. There was only a small hidden path on the side. The entrance of the small path was also at the bottom of the lake, covered with water plants. The path was not smooth all the way and there were a lot of traps. It was also the reason why Yi Qin did not come in through the small path. It was not because he was afraid of the traps, but because he was afraid that the traps would cause too much noise. I wonder where this door leads to? Yi Qin thought about it again and again before stepping in. He believed that the Wang family would not set up a stone door that would trap people in a dangerous place, since there was no need for it at all. After all, how many people would be able to find it? The purpose of this stone door was most likely to transport important people away. Perhaps Wang's snake was still alive. Oh! The swirl in the stone door spun once, and Yi Qin disappeared completely inside. Sister Mei, someone is coming through the stone door. In a dimly lit underground building, a teenager in black stared at the stone door in front of him with a cautious expression. It was indeed Wang's snake, whom Yi Qin had not seen for many years. Behind him, a cold-looking lady in black walked over. It was indeed another martial genius of the Wang family, Wang Mei. Back in the Star Regional Lake, her three-headed snake had attacked the big ship that Yi Qin and Wang's snake were on. Little snake, our Wang family might have been destroyed. The people coming here are most likely enemies. Later I will hold them off. You run by yourself. Do not look back. There was a hint of sadness in Wang Mei's eyes, but it was soon replaced by determination. Wang's snake shook his head. No, Sister Mei, I want to face it with you. Stupid brat, what is the use of you staying here? It will only be one more corpse. Only by staying alive can you avenge my family. I believe you have the potential. You have reached the peak level early astral reaching realm from the condensing reality realm in just a couple of years. Compared to a couple of years ago, Wang Mei had matured quite a bit. Oh! Just as the two were talking, the swirl inside the conveyor door suddenly sped up, and a human figure walked out. A six-headed snake shadow appeared behind Wang Mei and Wang's snake. The 12 snake heads bit towards the incoming person, attacking fiercely. Boom! The incoming person threw out a punch and the two backed out continuously. It's me. After throwing out a punch to push back the two, Yi Qin said. Wang's snake was overjoyed. Brother Yi. It really is Brother Yi. Sister Mei, he is not an enemy. He is my savior, Brother Yi. A confused look flashed past Wang Mei's face, but she nodded and said calmly, I know. Yi Qin looked around and realized that he was underground. The walls were inlaid with glowing crystals, which made it possible for him to see his own fingers in this dark environment. He was in a stone hall which looked very ancient and elegant. It seemed to have been here for a long time. Wang's snake, what is this place? This is our Wang family's forbidden place. Brother Yi, is our Wang family still here? Wang's snake asked carefully. In the past few years he had developed feelings for the Wang family. Except for a few people, the others were very nice to him, especially the family head, Wang Heng. At the side, Wang Mei also looked at Yi Qin. Yi Qin was silent for a while, shook his head and said in a low voice, The Wang family has been razed to the ground. I only found out about it by chance and then I found the conveyor door. Grandpa, Uncle Zhou, are they all dead? Wang's snake's eyes were filled with tears. The dead cannot be resurrected. It is already a great fortune for you to be alive. You must cherish this life, and when you are strong enough you can take revenge. Yi Qin comforted him. I know I will. Wang Shi clenched his fists tightly. Not only was the main family destroyed, before the main family was destroyed his previous family was also destroyed, not even the fowls and dogs were spared. These days he felt very painful every moment. Fortunately Wang Mei was with him, she was his only relative. The conveyor door's light dimmed and gradually disappeared. Yi Qin knew that the conveyor door's original energy had been used up. After all, this conveyor door was very low level compared to the conveyor doors Yi Qin had seen. There was a limit to the number of people, and it was impossible to teleport without limit. How did you escape? Yi Qin asked. Wang's snake explained, after my previous family was destroyed, Grandpa Wang Heng forced me and Sister Mei to enter the conveyor door. It was a one-way conveyor door and we could not teleport back. There was also a limit to the number of people who could enter. It seemed that there was only one person left. Then can you tell me about the Wang family's secrets and the cause? This was what Yi Chen wanted to know the most. Otherwise he would not be able to make a plan. Wang's snake looked at Wang Mei and Wang Mei nodded and said, "Let me tell you. Anyway, the Wang family only exists in name and there is nothing to hide. There are some things that you are not clear about." Chapter 490. Taking a deep breath, Wang Mei said slowly, "In the ancient era there were many mixed blood races. Among them, the most powerful ones were the demi-beast families. Our Wang family was one of the demi-beast families. As for the so-called demi-beasts, they were beasts that could transform into human forms. In other words, they were the descendants of the beast kings and humans. They had the bloodline of both beasts and humans. When the beast bloodline was awakened, they could summon the phantom of the demi-beast, which would increase their battling power tremendously, allowing them to easily fight against those with higher realms. When a beast reached the Beast King realm, it could have offspring with humans. The fact that the Wang family had the bloodline of both beasts and humans did not surprise Yi Chen at all. In fact, he had already suspected that these people had the bloodline of beasts. As for beasts and humans, it sounded a bit unbelievable, but it was not that big of a deal. After a beast reached the Beast King realm, it could have two forms: a beast form and a human form. A beast form and a human form were not that different. As long as they wanted to, they could stay in their human form for the rest of their lives. Of course, there were some beast kings who preferred the beast form and did not want to become humans. Wang Mei shook her head. No, even if a normal beast reached the Beast King realm and could transform into a human form, it would not be able to have offspring with humans. Only some extremely rare beasts from the ancient era could do so, such as the ancestor of our Wang family, the nine-headed serpent king. Nine-headed serpent. Yi Chen was a bit surprised. The nine-headed serpent was a notorious beast in the ancient era. When it was born, it already had the power of a rank 7 beast. When it reached adulthood, it would have the power of a rank 10 beast. Once it became a beast king, it would be 10 times more powerful than a normal beast king. Those people who destroyed your Wang family were also from a demi-beast family? Yi Chen asked. Wang Mei nodded. Yes, I heard from my grandpa that they were from the Ao family with the bloodline of the blue-eyed white wolf. In the past, the Ao family was only a noble family among the demi-beast families, while our Wang family was the king family. However, the Wang family had declined a long time ago, becoming a normal family. 100 years ago, the Ao family became the king family. Why did the Ao family want to destroy the Wang family, which was also a demi-beast family? That was because they wanted to obtain the bloodline crystal of our Wang family. Yi Chen remained silent and listened to the other party's next words. Bloodline crystal, a crystal that can increase the density of bloodline and increase the chance of bloodline awakening. Only demonic kings can condense this type of crystal, and it's extremely poisonous. Half-demons with low density of bloodline will die without a doubt if they use it. Only half-demons with relatively high density of bloodline can use it effectively. Me and the little snake have used it once, increasing the density of our bloodline from 5-headed snake to 6-headed snake. Once the bloodline awakens, our cultivation base will skyrocket for a period of time without any side effects. Is this the reason why the Ao family wants to deal with your Wang family? Could it be that the Ao family can also use the bloodline crystal of your Wang family? Wang Mei said, bloodline crystals are formed from demonic energy and the blood essence of a demonic king. I think there should be some similarities between them. Alright, now you can tell me about the strength of the Ao clan. Tell me everything you know. Don't hide anything. The Ao family is very powerful. Wang Mei's voice sank as she said, although I do not know anything about the Ao family, I know about the royal family's power very well. In order to become a royal family, there must be 3 conditions. First, there must be a demonic beast king in the family. Second, there must be at least 4 master-level demonic beast warriors. Third, there must be a demonic beast son in the family. Hearing her, Yi Chen started to think. The Ao family was indeed powerful, ridiculously powerful. It seemed like among the demonic beast families, the royal family would be equivalent to a rank 5 martial institution. No, it might be even more powerful than a normal rank 5 martial institution, because a normal rank 5 martial institution might not even have 4 master-level Sea of Souls realm warriors. What is this demonic beast son? Once the beast bloodline reaches half of the ancestor's bloodline, one would be a demonic beast son. We call it the perfect demonic beast bloodline. The perfect demonic beast bloodline seemed to be similar to Murong's perfect demi-demon bloodline. This condition might be even harder than becoming a master-level demi-beast, since who would be able to control their own beast bloodline and reach half of it? Without a huge opportunity there would be no way at all. What is the level of your bloodline? Yichen asked casually. Wang's snake answered, we are still far from it. Only when the bloodline density reaches the 9-headed snake level would it be the perfect demonic beast bloodline. But we have only trained one bloodline crystal. Once we train the second one, the chance of increasing our bloodline density will be half of the first one, and the third one will be half of the second. Of course we would not dare to try the last 2 times either. If the first one could not kill us, then the chance of the second one would be doubled and the third one would be doubled. It would be the opposite of increasing our bloodline density. After training 3 bloodline crystals, we would not be able to train anymore because only the pure 9-headed snake bloodline would be able to train more than 3. We are demonic beasts, so we will never be able to have a pure 9-headed snake bloodline. Now that he knew everything, it was time for Yichen to say something. The AO family is very powerful. All I can do is try my best to ensure your safety. If it is beyond my power, then I will have to say sorry. Right now the AO family might not be able to chase after you. Let's talk about the future later. Naturally, Yichen hoped that the AO family would not bother to chase after Wang's snake and Wang Mei. Only a rank 5 martial institution would be able to compete with such a powerful being. He would not even be able to fill the gap between their teeth. The good thing was that the king warriors had their own rules, and the demi-beast king of the AO family would not show up for sure. So, the AO family's danger level would be reduced by 1 rank, which would be equivalent to a top rank 6 martial institution. Thank you, Brother Yi. Wang's snake was not too sure about Yichen's power, since the news from the Thunder City martial tea gathering had not arrived yet. But, judging from Yichen's chi, he was undoubtedly at the peak level late astral reaching realm. They are very powerful. I heard from my grandpa that there are demi-beasts who have reached the Sea of Souls realm. Wang Mei hesitated for a while before reminding him. Yichen sighed, if only that were the case. Wang Mei opened her mouth but did not know what to say. It was not that she did not trust Yichen, but she did not think that astral reaching realm warriors would be able to compete with Sea of Souls realm warriors. Plus, Yichen had the blue-eyed white wolf bloodline, which would make his battling power even more powerful than Sea of Souls realm warriors at the same level. After staying in the forbidden place for a day, Yichen thought about it and said to the two, it is not a good idea to stay here all the time. Perhaps they have already left. I will go check out the situation on the Snake Island first. You guys be careful and wait for me to come back. Yichen already knew about the exit of the forbidden place, which was under the island. Leaving the forbidden place, Yichen arrived in the sky. This place is so close to the Blue Mountain Island. Yichen had flown over this island before, but he did not expect that it would be the forbidden place of the Wang family right under the island. As long as he knew where it was, Yichen flew in a straight line towards the Snake Island. On the Snake Island, a group of men in hats appeared on the top of the island. Eoseng, have you checked this place? The man in black asked the leading man in white. Yes, I have. There is nothing out of the ordinary. Really? The man in black did not believe him, so he started to search carefully with the other two. Captain, there is a transporting stone door 360 miles down there. One of the men in black found a clue. The man in black, who was called the captain, glanced at Ao Sung but did not say anything. Ao Sung looked a bit embarrassed. Fortunately, he had covered his face with the black cloth. The group of people arrived at the stone room where the transporting stone door was, and they could not help but frown. The energy of this transporting stone door has been used up. It seems like we will have to use the bloodline tracking spell. As he spoke, he took out the bottle of blood from the Wang family people from his storage ring. After opening it, he dropped a drop onto his hand. Oh. All of a sudden, a blue-eyed white wolf shadow appeared behind him. Its eyes shone with a bright blue light, and a mysterious power poured into the blood drop. The blood drop suddenly jumped up and shot onto the stone wall. It is the west. They are still 100,000 miles away. Let's go. The group of people moved quickly. After leaving the Snake Island, they flew toward the west at an extreme speed. Ao Ching, this time the family sent the three of you here. It should not be just a search for the Wang family people, right? Ao Sung was very clear that the Wang family only needed to send one green eye tracker. There was no need to send three of them at once. The leading man in black, Ao Ching, said, "We have another mission this time, which is to find out more about the Tuoba family's power." Tuoba family? That is a noble family. Is the family planning to attack them? No, we're just trying to find out more. The power of the Tuoba family is hidden very deeply. Not bad. Ao Seng let out a breath. If they wanted to destroy the Tuoba family, they would have to send out all of the Ao family. Unfortunately, the leader of the family was a demi-beast king. Otherwise, he would be able to take care of the whole Tuoba family by himself. After flying for about 10,000 miles, Ao Ching stopped and continued to perform his bloodline tracking spell. The direction was still the west. On the way, a young man in blue passed by them. "Isn't this the sword artist in blue we ran into in the Bluestone town?" Ao Seng's eyes flashed as he said to Ao Ching. "What happened?" Ao Ching asked. Ao Seng told Ao Ching what had happened in the Bluestone town. "Should we kill him? I feel that there is something wrong with him. His power should be at the Sea of Souls realm. Let's not cause any trouble." Ao Ching shook his head. Yichen was able to make it out of the 5 poison great spell alive, so he must be powerful. He did not believe that he was just a normal peak-level astral-reaching realm warrior. Without showing any expression on his face, Yichen did not slow down at all as he pulled out the distance between him and the group of men in hats. "It is them. Why are they heading in that direction? Perhaps they have a way to find Wang Snake and Wang Mei? I guess I can only try my luck." After flying for hundreds of miles, Yichen suddenly stopped and followed them secretly. Although they were very powerful and would not be able to beat them alone, there would still be a chance to save them. Most importantly, Yichen could guarantee that he would not die, and that would be enough. Just as Yichen had expected, they were flying in the forbidden place of the Wang family without any deviation, as if they knew that the forbidden place was in that direction. Chapter 491. It is here. Ao Ching and the group arrived above the island looking down. "Then I will bring a couple of people down to catch them. You guys stay outside." Ao Seng waved his hand, signaling for the 4 men to follow. Ao Ching nodded his head and said to the remaining 2 bamboo hat men in black and 9 bamboo hat men in white, "The 11 of you each take a side. If you see anyone coming over, kill them without mercy. Also, move around as much as possible. With our soul power we can't seal off the entire island." The island had a radius of hundreds of miles. If one were to look at it as a square, each side would be 500 miles long, and the 4 sides would add up to 2,000 miles. Of course, because it was an irregular shape, it might only be 1,600 or 700 miles. With 12 people guarding it, each of their mental power or soul power would have to cover more than 100 miles. Not to mention the fact that the 9 men in white were only peak-level late astral-reaching realm warriors who could not use their soul power. Even if they were all Sea of Souls realm warriors, they would not be able to lock down the whole island. Yes. The 11 of them spread out, flying toward the chosen spot. Hundreds of miles deep in the lake, a blue figure kept flashing. Those 3 men in black are all Sea of Souls realm warriors. Their soul power lockdown range is very wide, and they would be able to sense my soul power. It would not be worth the risk. Those men in white are astral-reaching realm warriors, and my soul power would not only be able to avoid their mental power detection, but also be able to detect me without them noticing. I will sneak into the forbidden place from where they are. After making up his mind, Yichen started to swim forward at a fast speed. The whole process went smoothly, as Yichen easily avoided the mental power lockdown of the men in white and arrived at the entrance of the forbidden place. He then performed his body art and started to fly at top speed. The forbidden place was covered with a restrictive power, so soul power would not be able to get in. People outside would not be able to know what was going on inside. Hold on for a bit longer. Yichen was worried that Wang Snake and Wang Mei might have already fallen into the hands of the men in white, since it had been a long time since then. It is not easy for you 2 to reach the astral-reaching realm. Hand over the bloodline crystals now and I will let you go. Ao Sung and the 4 white-clothed bamboo hat men appeared in a fan-shaped formation in the spacious and dark stone hall. "Sixth Elder, why don't we just kill them and take their storage rings? There's no need to talk about conditions." A white-robed bamboo hat man was puzzled, so he sent a Zhen Yuan transmission. "I'm afraid that they've made preparations and hid the bloodline crystals." "Are you sure you can find the bloodline crystals if you kill them?" Ao Seng was no fool. As the 6th elder of the Ao family, he had not only strength but also experience. Wang Mei looked gloomy and all kinds of thoughts flashed through her mind. Did Yi Qin betray us? Otherwise, how could the AO clan find this place? Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? No, why did Yi Qin betray us? His power was far above mine and Wang Shi's. There was no need for him to leave the forbidden area of the Wang family to inform others. He could deal with us alone. It should be a secret technique of the AO clan. Thinking that she suspected Yi Qin, Wang Mei felt a little guilty. I won't hand over the bloodline crystal to you. Dream on. Wang Shi's eyes were red, and a huge six-headed snake shadow appeared behind him. Brat, you want to die? One of the white-robed bamboo hat men yelled. He did not summon the blue-eyed white wolf shadow but threw out a palm attack. That horrifying palm power attack toward Wang Shi. Watch out. Wang Mei blocked in front of Wang Shi, blocking that palm attack for him. Boom. It was like a bomb had exploded in the stone room. That aggressive chi flow spread out in all directions, blowing Wang Mei and Wang Shi away. Sister Mei, are you okay? Hundreds of meters away, Wang Shi saw the blood coming out of Wang Mei's mouth. Wang Mei shook her head. I'm fine. After so many years of training, Wang Mei had reached the mid-astral reaching realm from the early clasping yuan realm. Once she called out the six-headed snake shadow, she would be able to compete with powerful astral reaching realm warriors. Although the white-robed man was at the late astral reaching realm, he did not call out the blue-eyed white wolf shadow, so his power was not that much more powerful than Wang Mei's. The density of the six-headed snake bloodline is not bad. Ao Sung looked regretful. If he were a descendant of the Ao family, he would definitely be the focus of training. Wang Mei looked at Ao Sung cautiously, protecting Wang Shi behind her. Shaking his head, Ao Sung took a step forward and said with a creepy voice, "Since you are not willing to hand over the bloodline crystal, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Come here." As he reached out his hand, Wang Mei's body was sucked in without any power to fight back. Right then, a sword chi shot out, cutting off the sucking power. Who is it? Ao Sung only saw a blur before a blue figure flashed out and pulled Wang Mei back. Brother Yi. Wang Shi was overjoyed. Locking his eyes on Ao Sung, Yi Qin said lightly, "Don't worry, I will take you out." It's you? Ao Sung recognized Yi Qin. He regretted not killing him earlier, but at the same time, a mocking smile appeared on his face. You? Since you are here, don't even think about leaving. His protective Jin Yuan had been shattered, turning into pieces of sword light. Yi Qin grabbed Wang Shi and Wang Mei, yelling with a low voice, "Go!" Shoo. The sword light shot out and the three disappeared into the tunnel. Ao Seng's expression froze for a second before he yelled, "Where do you think you're going?" With a buzzing sound, a blue-eyed white wolf shadow appeared behind Ao Seng's back. His whole body turned into a sphere of white light, chasing after them. The two of them flew through the tunnel of the Wang family's forbidden area. Soon Yi Qin was the first to jump out of the exit, diving into the depths of the lake. Ao Seng was furious. He turned his head and yelled, "You four, go inform them." Then he chased after Yi Qin in a hurry. In the sky above the island, what? They were saved? It was that blue-robed sword artist. Ao Cheng's expression turned ugly. Before, Ao Seng had suggested to kill Yi Qin, but he did not agree. Now that two of the Wang family's descendants had been saved by Yi Qin, it was undoubtedly a slap on his face. The rest of you stay here. You two follow me. After using the bloodline tracking art to confirm the direction of Wang Shi and Wang Mei, Ao Cheng and the two black-robed bamboo hat men chased after them. Splash. A water-breaking sound was heard as a sword light shot out. Vaguely, one could see three human figures wrapped within the sword light. Not long after, another human figure shot out. His speed was much slower than the sword light, but he would not be able to get rid of it in a short period of time. Stay here. Ao Seng threw out a claw attack, his claw shadows flying everywhere. The sword light was like a mischievous fish, traveling between the claw shadows without being harmed at all. What kind of secret art is this? An astral-reaching realm warrior can reach 10 times the speed of sound? While Ao Seng was furious, he also felt that it was unbelievable. Normally, an astral-reaching realm warrior who could reach 5 times the speed of sound would already be very powerful. 6 or 7 times the speed of sound would only be for extreme astral-reaching realm warriors with extremely powerful body arts. As for those martial geniuses who could challenge Sea of Souls realm warriors, they would not be able to increase their speed to more than 10 times the speed of sound. However, Yi Qin's speed had completely overturned his understanding. My Jin Yuan is much richer than yours. Let's see how long you can last. Ao Seng did not believe that Yi Qin could last. The Sea of Souls Realm Warriors Zhen Yuan was like the ocean, which was not something astral-reaching realm warriors could compete with. One day and one night had passed. Yi Chen had flown a whole 900,000 miles with the two, leaving Ao Seng behind for more than 1,000 miles. However, he did not stop, since it was not a coincidence that these people could find the forbidden place of the Wang family. Perhaps there was something more to it. In fact, Ao Seng was not just 1,000 miles away from Yi Chen, but 2,000 miles. It was like he was sitting on a rocket. Chapter 492. Brother Yi is so powerful. Being carried by Yi Chen with one hand and flying at an extreme speed, Wang Snake's admiration for Yi Chen had reached a new level. It was not an astral-reaching realm warrior chasing after them, but 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts. Even under the pursuit of 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts, Yi Chen was still able to carry them for 2 days. It was beyond Wang Snake's imagination. If Wang Snake was still a young brat before, then right now he was a new generation of demi-beast martial geniuses. He would not admire anyone he saw, but his admiration for Yi Chen was pure. Wang Mei was also shocked. Before, she did not have much hope for Yi Chen since the power gap between them was way too huge. No matter how hard they struggled, it would not help at all. Therefore, she decided to face it calmly. But now she did not think like that anymore. She had a chance to survive, and the only reason for that was because of Yi Chen. The sword light was like an aurora in the void. Every time it flickered, it would cover a distance of 10 miles. It was truly 10 miles in an instant. The people chasing after them were divided into 2 groups. One of them was Ao Seng and Ao Cheng, who had been left behind by Yi Chen for over 2,000 li, unable to shake him off. One of them was the 2 men in black robes. Although they were also Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts, they were way weaker than Ao Seng and Ao Cheng. They were at least 6,000 miles away. Fortunately, the 2 knew the bloodline tracking spell, so they did not lose track of them. Ao Cheng, is this guy really at the peak level late astral reaching realm? We have been chasing for 2 days and 2 nights, but we still could not catch up. The man in black robes was shocked. This guy dares to go against our Ao family. Once we catch him, we will let him experience what it feels like to be dead. The man in black robes named Ao Cheng said with hatred. I do not think it is that simple. Since he dares to go against our Ao family, he might have some kind of support. How could a normal power have such a horrifying martial genius? What are you afraid of? Our Ao family is the king family. Even rank 5 martial institutions would have to respect us. Even if we cannot kill him, we can take him back and torture him. No one would dare to say anything. The weather in the misty snow region was extremely cold. Even though one was high up in the sky, one could still feel the cold air cutting down like ice blades. Sit up. Taking out the flying puppet, Yi Chen flew up and sat on it. Big brother Yi, is this a high-grade puppet? Wang Snake felt much more relaxed. Back then, Yi Chen had protected him all the way to the Wang family on the Snake Island. Now Yi Chen was protecting them again. To him, Yi Chen was like a brother but also like a senior, giving him a strong sense of security. Yi Chen nodded. I found it in some ruins. After saying that, he closed his eyes and began to meditate. After flying for 2 days and 2 nights, Yi Chen had swallowed a lot of true essence restoring pills. Now, his true essence had begun to turn turbid, and there were impurities in it. After all, pills were external objects. If he used too many of them, there would always be side effects. If he didn't eliminate these side effects, then he would be in danger. His true essence operated according to the 14th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Yi Chen cleaned out the impurities bit by bit, recovering his purity. I see him. Indeed, his total Zhen Yuan is still at the astral reaching realm. It is not as rich as us. After 15 minutes, Ao Seng and Ao Cheng started to catch up. They had only swallowed 1 pill on the way, so they were not affected at all. Let's charge over in one go. Ao Cheng was afraid that something bad would happen if he dragged it out, so he risked the possibility of his meridians being damaged. Seeing that the 2 were about to catch up, Wang Snake and Wang Mei started to panic. Don't worry. Yi Chen's face looked like it had been carved by a knife, without any expression. As he spoke, 2 steel pipes appeared from the back of the flying puppet. One of them had an orange-yellow light spot on its end, which was getting bigger and bigger until it turned into a light ball. Boom. A beam of light shot out, turning into a bright red light wave. Not good. Dodge. Ao Cheng and Ao Seng's speed was too fast as they approached the flying puppet quickly. The flying puppet fired a cannon at them, which meant that the two were moving at an extreme speed, which would increase their reaction speed by 2 times. Not to mention the fact that they could not react in time. Even if they were prepared, they might not be able to avoid that huge light wave completely. Boom. The light wave exploded, and the two's speed decreased drastically. It is only an extreme astral reaching realm attack. Damn it. Its attacking speed is even faster than ours. Ao Seng did not care about the power of the puppet cannon, but its attacking speed annoyed him. The two were 30 miles away from each other, yet it still managed to hit the target. Let's split up. Let's see what kind of tricks he has up his sleeves. Ao Cheng suggested. Alright. Chill. The two flew to the left and right, increasing the distance between them. This way, the light wave explosion would not be able to affect the two at the same time. Yi Chen had been paying attention to the two with his soul power. Seeing that they had split up, he flicked his finger, and the leopard-shaped flying puppet appeared. I will leave this flying puppet to you two. Attack it as hard as you can. Wang Snake and Wang Mei were very interested in the flying puppet, so they hurried to nod. Boom. Boom. Beams of light shot out, moving at a lightning-fast speed. Bastard. Let's attack as well. Ao Seng and Ao Cheng were in a terrible situation. Countless sword lights appeared around her body, which were connected from head to tail, layer upon layer. It looked like an iron ball made of countless swords, which was more than 10 times more powerful than Feng Yanrou's ice snow sword realm. Cut. The ice element Zhen Yuan in her hand condensed into an ice sword, and she threw out a sword attack into the sky. All of the sword lights around her body were sucked out, and a cold white light shot out. It was 90,000 meters long, seeming to be able to tear the sky apart. The sea of clouds turned into ice crystals, falling down from the sky. The shocking sky above the sea of clouds could be seen clearly. Feng Yanrou let out a breath slowly. Every time she saw her teacher attack, she would be very shocked. The title of Snow Sword Master was not just for show. Teacher, there is someone chasing us up there. That person in front looks so familiar. It is Yi Chen. Yi Chen was wrapped in the sword light and could not be seen with naked eyes. But the qi that was leaking out of him made Feng Yanrou recognize him immediately. He is indeed Yi Chen, the martial genius from the tea gathering. Snow Sword Master was a bit surprised. In her eyes, Yi Chen's future would be limitless. Having master-level sword intent at the astral-reaching realm was something she had never thought of before. It was also something that had never happened before. In other words, Yi Chen's record in sword intent would be the best in the history, and there might not be anyone who could break it in the future. Teacher, why don't you save him once? Making friends with such a martial genius would be good for our snowy martial school. Feng Yanrou looked at Snow Sword Master. Snow Sword Master was about to agree, but her eyes froze all of a sudden. She stared at the man in white and the man in black. Behind them was the blue-eyed white wolf shadow. No. Saving him will bring trouble to our snowy martial school. Snow Sword Master rejected immediately. Why? Feng Yanrou did not understand. The two people chasing him are not simple. Even rank 5 martial schools would not want to mess with them. They are from the Ao family, and there are 5 master-level warriors in the Ao family, maybe even more. Do you think our snowy martial school has the right to compete with them? Snow Sword Master really wanted to save Yi Chen. She could imagine how powerful Yi Chen would be in the future. It might even be possible for him to become a sword king. But right now she could not save him. 5 master-level warriors. Feng Yanrou remained silent. Everyone knew about the power of master-level warriors. Although she thought that her master's Snow Sword Master was very powerful and did not need to be afraid of any master-level warrior, but if 1 was not enough, then what about 2? What about 5? Let's go back. He will not die that easily. Otherwise, he would not have been able to escape until now. Snow Sword Master shook her head and turned to leave. Chapter 493. That sword just now. So powerful. Its ice profound. Although Snow Sword Master's sword didn't cut open stunning sky, Yi Chen knew that the opponent was intentionally restraining herself, as if she was demonstrating it to someone. Otherwise, with the might of that sword, not to mention stunning sky, it could even tear apart extreme void sky. This is the Misty Snow Palace's territory. The one who waved this sword should be Misty Snow Sword Master, right? Ao Seng said solemnly. Ao Cheng nodded, it's Snow Sword Master without a doubt. No wonder people say that she's among the top 5 sword masters. Just this sword alone can heavily injure ordinary master-level characters. As long as she doesn't hinder us, it's fine. Otherwise, the master-level characters of my AO family are not to be trifled with. The two only sighed at the might of Snow Sword Master, but they didn't have much apprehension. After all, they were only passing by the Misty Snow Palace. South of Misty Snow region was the edge of the continent. If they continued flying, they would arrive at Boundless Ocean. Compared to True Spirit Continent, Boundless Ocean was indeed boundless. Nobody knew if Boundless Ocean had an end or not, or if it was the edge of this world. If True Spirit Continent was known, then Boundless Ocean was unknown. The danger of Boundless Ocean far surpassed the former. One of the dangers of Boundless Ocean was the ocean demonic beasts. True Spirit Continent's demonic beasts were limited, but Boundless Ocean's was limitless. If True Spirit Continent could give birth to a demonic king, then Boundless Ocean could give birth to many times more demonic kings. Of course, because Boundless Ocean was too vast, demonic kings couldn't be found normally. Upon arriving at Boundless Ocean, Yi Chen felt that the wind here was very strong enough to blow away clasping Yuan martial artists. In some places where the wind was concentrated, the air currents actually formed into wind blades. These wind blades were as fast as lightning, producing sharp air-piercing sounds. Apart from this, in the sky above Boundless Ocean, the water yuan qi was abnormally dense, condensing into water droplets. Some water droplets were the size of rice grains, reflecting a sparkling radiance, while others were the size of small mountains floating in the sky, slowly moving. Crackle. A lightning bolt suddenly shot out from the water droplets, dazzling to the extreme. Yi Chen did not expect the water droplet to release lightning at him, so he did not have enough time to dodge. He could only lift up his left hand and blow out the lightning. Along the way, Yi Chen was attacked by lightning many times. Fortunately, he was prepared, so it was not difficult for him to avoid them. Soon after, Yi Chen witnessed an astonishing scene. It was impossible to say that people with high Jinyuan purity would have a much higher attack speed than those with low Jinyuan purity. Otherwise, if Yi Chen encountered a Sea of Soul Realm expert, how could he fight? Of course, the decrease in Jinyuan purity would affect the speed, but it would not be that obvious. 50 li, 30 li, 10 li. When the dawn of the boundless ocean arrived, the distance between the two had never been so close. For ordinary people, 10 li might take a while, but for Ao Cheng and Ao Seng, 10 li was a blink of an eye. If not for Yi Chen maintaining high speed, they would have caught up to Yi Chen in a blink of an eye. So close. Let me see how you dodge my attack. Ao Cheng extended both his hands, and dozens of greenish-red chains shot out like steel tentacles, enveloping Yi Chen in front of him. With a grave expression, Yi Chen flicked his finger backward. Swish. A bullet-like lotus heart sword chi shot out, creating sparks on Ao Cheng's protective Zhen Yuan. In the next moment, his Zhen Yuan was shattered. Sword chi. Blood blossomed from Ao Cheng's shoulder. If it weren't for the protective Zhen Yuan blocking the sword chi's path, it wouldn't have been his shoulder that was injured, but his heart. Once the heart was pierced, it meant death unless he had some kind of miraculous medicine that could regenerate flesh and bones and heal it immediately. This person is extremely dangerous. Ao Cheng's body froze slightly. With his Zhen Yuan connection broken, he lost control of the greenish-red chains. He finally realized that Yi Chen did not only have speed, but also his battle prowess. He had been a bit careless. Yi Chen frowned. The power of the Lotus Heart Sword Chi was extremely powerful, but he did not expect it to be deviated by his opponent's protective Zhen Yuan. Judging from this, Ao Cheng's battling power was even more powerful than Yu Youtian's. If Yi Chen were to battle with Yu Youtian again, his chances of winning would be around 60 to 70%. However, his chances of killing the latter might not even be 10%, since the latter would definitely be able to escape. Go down for me. Ao Seng launched his attack. A huge Zhen Yuan hand reached out, and countless water droplets exploded while lightning flashed across the sky. You two hold on tight. Back in the Wang family's forbidden ground, Yi Chen could already tell that Wang Mei and Wang Snake had feelings for each other. Therefore, he let them stay close to each other while he pulled out his emerald longsword with his right hand and slashed at the huge Zhen Yuan hand. Boom. A huge shockwave spread out, shattering the sword light around Yi Chen's body. However, his speed did not decrease at all and he was pushed back by the shockwave. On the contrary, Ao Seng's speed dropped drastically. Blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Yi Chen was injured. He held a dark blue iron stick in his hand, and his bulging muscles seemed to be filled with explosive power. Sharp fangs protruded from his upper lip, and his pupils were abnormally fierce. Chapter 494. Ape Demonic Beast. Can talk? It was Yi Chen's first time seeing a demonic beast that could talk. Although demonic beasts could also talk after cultivating to the demonic king level, this black-furred human-shaped ape was clearly not a demonic king, but a 9th or 10th grade demonic beast. Its ability to talk might be due to its human-like appearance. It was also Wang Snake and Wang Mei's first time seeing a demonic beast that could talk, so they curiously stared at the human-shaped ape. Who do you think you are? How dare you meddle in our AO family's business? AO Sung flew over from dozens of li away, looking extremely miserable. The staff shadow had come too suddenly and he couldn't even dodge it. What shocked him even more was that his protective Zhen Yuan couldn't even withstand a single strike from the staff shadow, and he was directly sent flying dozens of li away, suffering a serious internal injury. The human-shaped ape pointed at AO Sung and said arrogantly, "First, I am not a thing. My name is Sun Xiaojing. Second, I don't care if you are from the AO family or whatever. In front of me, Sun Xiaojing, you are not worth mentioning. If I want to fight, I will fight. You'd better ask around about the background of my AO family." AO Qing said with a gloomy face. Sun Xiaojing glanced at AO Qing. "What? Is your AO family very powerful?" The two black-clothed bamboo hat experts who had just arrived were infuriated. "My AO family is the royal family among the demonic beast families. We have a demonic beast king and over 5 master-level elders. If you leave now, you'll still have a chance to turn back. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. So you're a demonic beast. No wonder you're so arrogant. However, your grandpa is a genuine demonic beast. Eat my staff." Sun Xiaojing's words were strange, and his expression was insolent. He raised his dark cyan staff high and smashed it toward AO Cheng and the other three. Boom, boom, boom. As the staff descended, countless staff shadows burst forth, seeming like a heavenly river descending with a majestic aura. Bastard. AO Cheng didn't expect Sun Xiaojing to attack without any hesitation. He didn't put the AO family in his eyes at all. He roared angrily and activated his Zhen Yuan with all his strength. Immediately, numerous cyan red chains interweaved together, forming a huge chain net that tightly protected his body. AO Sung had suffered at Sun Xiaojing's hands before, so he hurriedly circulated his power and threw out a huge demonic wolf claw. The demonic wolf claw flickered with a pale green light as it clashed with the stick shadow. The other two bamboo hat men worked together to defend, waiting for an opportunity to counterattack. "Little ones, it's not over yet. Fly." The muscles on Sun Xiaojing's arms rapidly expanded, and the iron stick in his hands became as light as a feather. He instantly changed from a vertical chop to a horizontal sweep. Bang. The 4 Sea of Spirit Realm half-beasts were sent flying, and the 2 black-robed men who had just joined in vomited blood. Such powerful strength. AO Cheng's pupils shrank. This human-shaped ape that could speak was so strong that it made one's hair stand on end. It didn't seem as simple as an ordinary demonic beast. Beast, don't be too arrogant. AO Sung was, after all, the 6th elder of the AO clan. His strength was not to be underestimated. With a slight shake of his body, the cyan-eyed white wolf behind him roared towards the sky. A terrifying pressure spreading out for dozens of li. His hands quickly formed a series of hand seals. As the hand seals were completed, a cyan light ball gradually formed in the cyan-eyed white wolf's mouth. The inside of the ball was black. Go! With a swoosh, the light ball turned into a beam of light and shot toward Sun Xiaojing. Insignificant skill. Sun Xiaojing grinned as his iron stick struck the front of the light beam. Like a thunderclap, the light beam was immediately shattered. Sun Xiaojing couldn't help but take a dozen steps back, his tall and sturdy body looking majestic. At the same time as AO Sung attacked, the 2 black-robed bamboo hat men also launched a fierce attack. Boundless Zhen Yuan drowned Sun Xiaojing. Bind. AO Qing was the last to attack. As soon as he did so, an earth-shattering cyan red chain shot out, binding Sun Xiaojing, who had just broken free like a rice dumpling. Seeing this, AO Sung and the 2 black-robed bamboo hat men let out a sigh of relief. In terms of battle power, this human-shaped ape was almost equivalent to a Taoist-level expert. His monstrous strength was indeed impressive. However, after being bound by hundreds of cyan red chains, He wouldn't be able to break free no matter how powerful he was. A mocking expression appeared on Sun Xiaojin's face. You want to trap me with just this? Big, big, big. Every time he uttered the word big, Sun Xiaojin's body would expand by 10 times. After uttering the word 3 times, he had already become a 3,000-meter-tall horrifying giant ape. Even the shortest black hair on his body was hundreds of meters long and as thick as a bowl, shining with a metallic black luster. His pair of red eyes were like 2 red stars in the sky, shooting out beams of light that were thousands of meters long. As for the chains that bound Sun Xiaojin, they had already been broken into pieces. I forgot to tell you guys, this is my true battle form. With a thunderous voice, Sun Xiaojin looked down at the 4. So big. Wang's snake was dumbfounded. Sun Xiaojin, who was standing in the sky, was simply too big. The clouds were curling around his body, looking like countless white ribbons. The air coming out of his nostrils was like a whirlwind, causing the whole area to be filled with violent gales and wind blades. Yichen was also quite surprised. This ape was indeed abnormal. Not only could it speak human language, it could also change its size, increasing its battle power by several folds. Boom. Without using any treasures, Sun Xiaojin formed a fist with his right hand and punched out with his hill-sized fist, bringing up astral winds and even creating wind, fire, thunder, and water. Not good. Retreat. The 4's faces turned pale as they backed off madly. However, even though they backed off fast, Sun Xiaojin's fist speed was even faster. In less than 1/10 of the blink of an eye, the 4's bodies were instantly hit. Ao Cheng and Ao Seng puked out a huge mouthful of blood, looking extremely weak. The other 2 black-robed men were even worse. They directly fainted and no one knew if they were still alive or dead. Retreat. Without another word, Ao Cheng grabbed one of the black-robed men and ran out. Ao Seng followed closely behind, also grabbing a black-robed man. Next time you see your grandpa Sun Xiaojin, remember to hide far away. Sun Xiaojin seemed to be reckless, but he knew better than anyone else that wounding the 4 was fine, but killing the 4 was not a good idea. The blue-eyed white wolf shadow behind the 4 was not some ordinary thing. It was a powerful demonic beast king from the ancient era. How could its descendants be ordinary? He had not reached the level where he could kill anyone he wanted to. Many thanks for Brother Sun's help. I am Yichen. Right then Yichen flew over with the other 2 and cupped his fists. His body suddenly shrunk to 3 meters tall as he chuckled. I just don't like them, especially the aura on their bodies. Yichen froze for a second but soon realized what was going on. Demonic beasts always had a bad temper. When 2 equally powerful demonic beasts ran into each other, a huge battle might break out. Obviously, the blue-eyed white wolf bloodline inside the Ao family people made Sun Xiaojin very uncomfortable, which was why he decided to suppress them. Of course, no matter what their intentions were, it was a fact that they had helped him beat back the Ao family's people. Your 2 friends seem to be half-beasts as well. Sun Xiaojin frowned as a vicious light flashed through his eyes. Yichen was shocked, not knowing what Sun Xiaojin meant. Don't worry, as long as they don't provoke me, Sun Xiaojin, it will be fine. Also, it would be best if they don't release their bloodline power in front of me. Hearing these words, Yichen let out a sigh. This Sun Xiaojin's temperament was truly eccentric, making people scratch their heads in confusion. You 3 should have come from True Spirit Continent, right? Sun Xiaojin asked. Right. Yichen faintly nodded. Then you'd better be careful. This boundless ocean is extremely dangerous. Even I don't dare to wander around. I can only wander around familiar places. Why don't you come with me to the Water Ape Cave? My Water Ape clan is very hospitable, and it's been a long time since we had a guest. Water Ape Cave, is it under the sea? Wang Shi asked curiously. Just follow me. Sun Xiaojin's temperament dictated that he didn't care whether the others agreed or not. He directly flew toward the sea under the clouds. Let's go. Yichen said to the 2 after a slight hesitation. Previously it was night time, so Yichen didn't have much of an observation of the boundless ocean. But now that the sun had risen, the 3 could immediately feel the depth and vastness of the ocean. Black waves rose and fell, easily reaching 1,000 meters in height. Sailing on this ocean, even a 10,000-meter-long ship would be overturned and torn apart. As far as the eye could see, the boundless ocean gave off a berserk oppressive feeling. With a water-breaking sound, the 3 humans and 1 beast dove into the seabed. After diving for around 50,000 meters, an underwater mountain range appeared in front of them. This mountain range was thousands of meters high and stretched out for an unknown distance. On the cliff there was a giant cave entrance. The cave entrance was sealed by a barrier of light. Above the cave entrance were 4 large golden words, Water Ape Cave Mansion. This is the cave of my Water Ape clan. Sun Xiaojin introduced the place to the 3 while greeting the high-level demonic beasts wandering near the huge mountain. He then dove into the light membrane. Yi Qin and the other 2 also followed him in. After passing through the light membrane, the water flow suddenly disappeared, and was replaced by a wide and grand inner space. There were mountains, rivers, forests, buildings and a large number of gray apes. These gray apes looked quite similar to Sun Xiaojin, and were obviously from the same demonic beast race. However, the evil qi on their bodies was a lot weaker than Sun Xiaojin's, even if some of them were not weaker than Sun Xiaojin's. They are all members of the Water Ape clan, but their bloodline is not as high as mine. They are merely ordinary water apes. As he spoke up to hear, Sun Xiaojin seemed extremely proud, not concealing his complacency in the slightest. Yi Qin rubbed his chin. In his opinion, these gray apes were not ordinary demonic beasts. They were several grades higher than the demonic beasts commonly seen on the continent, and their bloodline was extremely ancient. Xiaojin, you sneaked out to play again. Who are they? A human and 2 half-beasts? A few gray apes surrounded them, and the old ape in the lead said in bewilderment. Sun Xiaojin said, Second Grandpa Sun, they are my guests. Don't make things difficult for them. Xiaojin, is it not enough for you to have us as your friends? Why do you have to make friends with humans? Sun Xiaojin raised his head. Who I want to make friends with is none of your business. Yi Qin chuckled inwardly. It seemed like this Sun Xiaojin was the little tyrant of the Water Ape clan. Chapter 495. After getting rid of the young gray ape, Sun Xiaojin brought Yi Qin and the other 2 to a stone hall. The hall was extremely vast, dozens of meters tall and 1,000 meters long. There were many stone tables and chairs in the hall, as well as countless colorful fruits. These are the specialties of our Water Ape mansion. Some of them can replenish physical strength and blood qi. You guys eat as much as you want. Sun Xiaojin grabbed a head-sized green fruit and fiercely took a bite. Yi Qin thought for a moment, then said, Brother Sun, isn't it a bit inappropriate for you to bring us to Water Ape Mansion so casually? Don't worry, you can focus on healing here. No one will disturb you. If you were outside, I can guarantee that you wouldn't live for more than 3 days. Many thanks. Yi Qin cupped his fists. The most important reason why he followed Sun Xiaojin to Water Ape Mansion was because his battle strength had been greatly reduced. Not to mention protecting Wang's snake and Wang Mei, he couldn't even protect himself. Moreover, in this boundless ocean, finding a place to cultivate was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Who knew an ocean beast might tear you apart? Therefore, being a guest in Water Ape Mansion was the best choice. Wang's snake was a pure and honest person. Seeing Sun Xiaojin's loyalty, he couldn't help but ask, Brother Sun, that AO family is the king of demi-beast clans. Aren't you afraid of their revenge? Sun Xiaojin's mouth twitched. There's no need to worry about this. Their AO family is the overlord of True Spirit Continent. In the boundless ocean, even a dragon would have to coil up and even a tiger would have to lie down. Although my Water Ape clan is weak, we're a member of the Southern Shallow Ocean Alliance, which has a total of 6 leaders, all of whom are demonic kings. Would their AO family's demonic king dare to come? South Shallow Ocean Alliance. This was the first time Yi Qin had heard of it. Sun Xiaojin explained, the 30 million miles of ocean surrounding True Spirit Continent are all shallow oceans, which are divided into the Eastern Shallow Ocean, Southern Shallow Ocean, Western Shallow Ocean and Northern Shallow Ocean. The Eastern Shallow Ocean has 5 major powers, and the most powerful one is the Dragon God Celestial Palace. The Southern Shallow Ocean has formed a Southern Shallow Ocean Alliance. The Western Shallow Ocean and Northern Shallow Ocean are too chaotic, and the powers are too complicated. Isn't Dragon God Celestial Palace a continent power? Why are you in the Eastern Shallow Sea? Yi Qin raised his brows and asked. The members of Dragon God Celestial Palace are very complicated. There are all kinds of races inside. There are humans, half-beasts, demonic beasts and demi-giants. The one on True Spirit Continent is only a branch of Dragon God Celestial Palace, and all of them are humans. Of course, this is what my grandfather told me. I see. Yi Qin was enlightened. Speaking of which, Dragon God Celestial Palace is also on the verge of collapse. Previously, Old Dragon King was strong and could suppress the situation. However, his days are numbered. Once he dies, the whole palace will be doomed, and the other four forces will definitely rush in. That's right. How many years do you have left, Dragon King? It's hard to say. Some people say that he only has a few years left, and some say that he can live for more than 10 years. Do you know how old the old Dragon King was? He lived for 1,010 years. I really don't know how he broke through the limit of human life and death. It's so strange. Perhaps he took some miraculous medicine to increase his lifespan. Sun Xiaojin shook his head. No, 1,000 years is the limit of human kings. They are not like you human Sea of Soul realm experts, who can use some methods to prolong their lifespan. Yi Chen was speechless. It seemed like Dragon God's celestial palace was not in a good situation. Fortunately, they didn't bring the disaster to South Rudra sect. Otherwise they would have one more enemy. What's the point of talking about this? It's too far away from us. Wait until I become a beast king, then I'll have the qualifications to stir things up. For now, just stay in the southern shallow ocean. Sun Xiaojin's fighting spirit was restrained in his eyes. After eating dozens of big fruits in a row, Sun Xiaojin stood up and said, "Let's go, I will find a room for you to rest in. After you have rested, you can walk around. If you run into any trouble, just say my name." Sorry for the trouble. Yi Chen ate 2 fruits and felt much better. He couldn't help but praise the abundant specialties of Water Ape Cave. Even the fruits were spirit medicines. The room Sun Xiaojin spoke of was actually a stone chamber. However, it was very spacious and grand, not the least bit inferior to human buildings. Inside the stone chamber, Yi Chen sized up his surroundings, but his thoughts seemed to have drifted off somewhere. Even if Dragon King is powerful, he can't escape death. Before the rules of heaven and earth, everyone is equal. True Spirit Continent is vast, and the boundless ocean is countless times larger than True Spirit Continent. Just as Sun Xiaojin said, only by becoming a king can one have the qualifications to participate. Otherwise, one's life would be in danger. That's right, Dragon King, you can't escape death. Everyone is equal before the rules of heaven and earth. True Spirit Continent is vast, and the boundless ocean is countless times larger. Just as Sun Xiaojin said, only kings have the qualifications to participate. Become a king. Yi Chen fiercely let out a breath. He had never had such an intense desire to become powerful. In the past, he only wanted to become powerful and improve step by step. But now, he desired to reach a higher level and participate in those magnificent battles. Right now, he was in the chess game, and one day he would become the player. A week passed by quickly. After a week of bitter training, he had completely purified the impurities in his Zhen Yuan, restoring it to its peak state. Not only that, but his undying body had also made a new breakthrough. He had successfully branded the soul imprint on his right leg. Right now, besides his arms and head, the first layer of the undying body, flesh recovery, was almost 80% complete. It was a godly improvement. Yi Chen, are you there? Sun Xiaojin's voice came from outside. Yi Chen tidied up his clothes and walked out. Brother Sun, what's the matter? My grandfather wants to see you. Your grandfather is the leader of Water Ape Clan? Yes, follow me. All right. Passing through a huge stone corridor and the lobby, Yi Chen followed Sun Xiaojin to the back of the lobby. Behind the lobby was a huge lake with a few thousand meters long arch bridge. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see some horrifying fish-type demonic beasts in the lake. These fish-type demonic beasts had red eyes, as if they had just drunk blood. Walking on the arch bridge, Sun Xiaojin said, "My grandfather is a half-step beast king. But you do not need to be too cautious. Our Water Ape Clan has very few rules." Yi Chen nodded. Up until now he had met 4 king warriors in total: the Dragon King, the Black Thunder King, the Beast King, and the Shining King. As for the mysterious queen he met in the parallel space battlefield, it was only a projection of her willpower, not her real body. At the end of the arch bridge was a stone palace. The two stopped in front of the palace. "Grandpa, I have brought the people," Sun Xiaojin said loudly. "Both of you come in." A deep and slightly aged voice rang out. Hearing this, Yi Chen and Sun Xiaojin stepped into the palace. The palace was spacious, and a tall human figure was sitting on the main seat. Judging by the naked eye, the figure was 3 meters tall even when sitting, and at least 5 meters tall when standing up. Raising his head, Yi Chen looked at the leader of the Water Ape Clan. The leader of the Water Ape Clan was even more similar to a human than he had imagined. Apart from his larger body, longer tusks, and thicker hair on his arms and legs, he was no different from a human. His face still had some wrinkles, and his ruddy face had a steel-like luster. "So you are Yi Chen. The leader of the Water Ape clan smiled. Yi Chen bowed and cupped his fists. Yi Chen greets the leader. No need to be so polite. I don't like it. My real name is Sun Tai. You can just call me Senior Sunday. The leader of the Water Ape clan seemed to care a lot about Yi Chen. If it were someone else, he wouldn't have told him his real name. After all, how could a senior tell a junior his name? In fact, even Sun Xiaojin was quite surprised, not knowing what his grandpa was thinking. Hearing this, Yi Chen said, Senior Sunday. All right, sit down. Let's have a good chat. Sun Tai laughed heartily. Yi Chen sat down next to Sun Xiaojin as he was told. I heard that you were chased by the Ao family to the boundless ocean? What happened exactly? Sun Tai asked some irrelevant questions. The Ao family annihilated the clans of my two friends. Yi Chen couldn't bear to see them die, so he brought them and fled to the boundless ocean. Yi Chen briefly explained the cause and course of events. Sun Tai faintly nodded. I can tell that your relationship with these two friends of yours isn't very deep. To think that you didn't abandon them at the critical moment, and even brought them to the boundless ocean from True Spirit Continent. This is enough to prove your character. My Water Ape clan values loyalty the most. From now on, the Water Ape clan will be your home. You can come and go as you please. Hearing Sun Tai's words, Yi Chen was quite astonished. What virtue or ability did he have to be valued so highly by the leader of the Water Ape clan? This was simply beyond his imagination. My Water Ape clan has existed since the Middle Ages. Even the lowest aptitude in our clan is mid-grade. The best aptitude is me and Xiaojin, both of us upper-grade aptitude. Perhaps you don't know much about the aptitude grades of demonic beasts. To put it simply, the majority of the demonic beasts you see on the continent are all lower-grade aptitude with little potential. Those that can reach mid-grade aptitude usually have a trace of ancient demonic beasts' bloodline, and have hopes of becoming 9th-grade demonic beasts, or even 10th-grade demonic beasts. Upper-grade aptitude is a branch of ancient powerful demonic beasts. Upon reaching adulthood, they can become 9th-grade demonic beasts, and their chances of becoming demonic kings are also very high. Your two friends have the bloodline of Nine-Headed Serpent, which is the same as us, upper-grade aptitude. Of course, Nine-Headed Serpents are at the peak of upper-grade aptitude, much stronger than us. Otherwise, they wouldn't have become peerless demonic kings. Pausing for a moment, Sun Tai continued, Perhaps you're wondering why I'm so close to you? Yi Chen wanted to know the reason as well. Our Water Ape clan doesn't lie. From the moment you entered the Water Ape cave, I've sensed your existence. You have the aura of a true dragon on your body, and you have a huge potential. Along with that, you also have a sky-piercing sword intent. It's a miracle for such a sword intent to appear at your current realm. Right now, there are signs that the world is going to be in chaos. Our Water Ape clan can't stay out of it, and we can't stay out of it either. Befriending a true dragon-level genius is a very important thing for our Water Ape clan. I believe you've already experienced such a thing before. Sun Tai was very honest, not hiding anything. Yi Chen remained silent. He had indeed experienced such a thing before. The Dragon King and Shinho both had high expectations for him. But nothing could happen without a reason. It was impossible for them to look forward to you and take care of you for no reason. You were not the son of heaven, so why would others treat you well? Therefore, there must be a reason for them to treat you well. If he wanted others to continue treating him well, then he would have to show that he was more talented than the others. Otherwise, he didn't believe that the Dragon King would take care of him and look forward to him like this. After all, they didn't have any relationship at all. You won't feel uncomfortable hearing me say this, right? Sun Tai looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen shook his head and said with a smile, It seems that I and the Water Ape clan are quite congenial. I like to be straightforward and not fake. Good. Sun Tai admired Yi Chen very much. In fact, he admired him even more than before. Tomorrow he would have to wake up at 5 o'clock and go out to do some errands. Chapter 496. Senior son, I have a favor to ask. As they chatted happily, Yi Chen suddenly thought of something. What is it? If I can help, Sun Tai will definitely help. Those two friends of mine. I wonder if they can stay in the Water Ape cave. They are being chased by the Ao family and I cannot protect them by myself. Of course, if they bring trouble to the Water Ape race, I will think of something else. Letting out a breath, Yi Chen said what he was thinking. Wang Snake and Wang Mei were way too weak compared to him, and they would only be a burden if he brought them along. For example, if it were not for them, Yi Chen would not have to run so hard. If he could not beat them, he could easily run away. If it were a head-on battle, he would definitely be able to wound one or two of them badly before leaving. Sun Tai laughed. I thought it was something serious. Alright, don't worry. They will be very happy in my water ape cave. As for trouble, I am not afraid of it. Even if it is that demi-beast king from the AO family, I am confident that I can exchange 100 or 200 attacks with him. Thank you so much. Yi Chen felt a lot more relaxed. With the 2 extra people around him, he felt like he could not use all of his power. Alright, here are 5 spirit power stones. I found them on a human life and death realm warrior's body by chance. They are useless to us water ape race, so I will give them to you. Sun Tai pushed out his palm slightly and 10 red light spots shot toward Yi Chen. Waving his hand in a semicircle, Yi Chen collected the red light spots. Looking at them closely, he realized that these 10 red spirit power stones were all thumb-sized. They were crystal clear and had a rich energy. Most importantly, they were not like the spirit power stones from the parallel space battlefields. The essence inside them had not been lost, but they were much heavier. Yi Chen lifted up his head to look at Sun Tai. This gift was way too expensive. Sun Tai shook his head. Trying to tie you to the chariot with only 1 sentence? Our water ape race would not do such a thing. If there is an investment, there will be a return. This is our principle. Thank you, Senior Sunday. In the future, Yi Chen will be a solid ally of our water ape race. Right now, Yi Chen is not qualified yet. Yi Chen said from the bottom of his heart. After discussing business, the 3 of them chatted about some trivial matters until late at night. For the next half a month, Yi Chen continued to absorb the spiritual energy from the crystals. Unlike the last time, the spiritual energy contained in the crystals was several times purer than before, and it was also several times more difficult to absorb. Every time he absorbed a crystal, Yi Chen had to spend 2 days to consolidate it before he continued to absorb the second, third. Half a month later, Yi Chen's body ignited with a red chi flow. The chi flow seemed to have a mind of its own as it crazily shuttled through Yi Chen's body. Flesh, blood, bones, marrow, they were everywhere. As the chi flow penetrated and vibrated, Yi Chen could feel some impurities that were preventing his body from reaching perfection being expelled and crushed. His entire body seemed to be on the verge of awakening, full of vitality. This smell is a little fishy. Opening his eyes, Yi Chen felt sticky all over his body. He took off his clothes and saw that his skin was covered with a layer of oil. This oil did not have any harmful effect on a warrior's Zhenyuan cultivation, but it was an obstacle for a warrior to cultivate a spirit body, and it was very hard to get rid of it. There was a bath in the stone room and the water in the bath was circulating. Jumping into the bath, Yi Chen could not help but moan as his eyebrows relaxed. The 5 crystals that Senior Sun gave me contain a huge amount of spiritual energy essence, which is even more precious than the 50 crystals in the parallel space battlefield. Thanks to Senior Sun, I have already cultivated my spirit body to 99%. I only need to spend a little more time to consolidate my spiritual energy, and then I can officially cultivate it. Clenching his fists, Yi Chen punched the stone wall in front of him. The surface of the stone wall seemed to have turned into powder as it slid down. If people with good eyesight were here, they would be able to tell that Yi Chen did not use any of his Zhenyuan, will power, or power. In fact, the power contained in that punch would not even be able to beat down a kid because there was no power in it at all. But even in this kind of situation, Yi Chen was still able to break the surface of the stone wall. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth as Yi Chen thought to himself. The gate between the astral reaching realm and the Sea of Souls realm is called the Mortal Transformation Gate. Once the spirit body is formed, it means that one has passed half of the Mortal Transformation Gate. Then one's body would be like a great weapon containing a bit of power. With only this power, one would be able to create damage. The advantage of cultivating the spirit body before the Sea of Souls realm is that the total amount of Zhenyuan would no longer be limited, and there would be more room for improvement. Before, when I trained my Green Lotus Sword spell to the 14th level, it only made my Zhenyuan a lot purer, but the total amount did not change. But now it is different. The total amount of Zhenyuan is slowly increasing, and it is approaching the limit of the 14th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Of course, I have not officially cultivated the spirit body yet, so the effect is still 20 to 30% weaker. After cleaning up the dirt on his body, Yi Chen walked out of the bath and changed into clean clothes. On the second day, the cultivation speed of the undying body has increased. What is going on? As usual, Yi Chen continued to cultivate the undying body. However, today's cultivation speed surprised him quite a bit. This kind of speed was not much slower than when he was in danger. It had only been half a day, and Yi Chen could feel that his right arm was about to be branded with the soul mark. Is it because of my body? Apart from cultivating the spirit body, Yi Chen's body hadn't experienced any changes lately. Therefore, he immediately found the most likely reason. It was known to all that only life and death realm warriors could comprehend the undying body. Although the first level of the undying body that Yi Chen had obtained was flesh healing, which was one level weaker than limb regrowth, it was still extremely difficult. He would need to reach the Sea of Souls realm at least to cultivate it properly. The question was, why did he have to reach the Sea of Souls realm? There were a few gaps between the Sea of Souls realm and the astral reaching realm: the soul gap, the Zhenyuan gap, and the physical gap. Cultivating the undying body required the body to be branded with the soul mark. Therefore, the soul and the body were especially important. And Yi Chen's soul was his advantage, which was no weaker than the majority of Sea of Souls realm warriors. In other words, what Yi Chen lacked was the body. Now that his body was about to be replenished, the cultivation speed of the undying body would naturally increase. I see. Finding the reason, Yi Chen's face revealed a joyful expression. The spirit body was only one step away from completion, and the flesh healing was also just a little bit away. If he succeeded in both, even if his power didn't seem to have made any progress, his ability to protect himself would increase by 10 times. If he encountered an opponent at the same level, the one who would die would be the opponent and not him. 1 against 2, 1 against 3 would not be a problem at all. Time flew, and another half a month passed in a flash. Oh! An astonishing soul ripple appeared on Yi Chen's body. The soul ripple was exceptionally complete, covering his whole body. Meanwhile, Yi Chen's aura seemed to be pulled by an invisible thread, which moved his whole body without any loopholes. The first level of flesh healing has finally been completed. Opening his eyes, the first thing that Yi Chen did was to take out a dagger and stab it into his chest. Oh! Fresh blood blossomed and splashed out. In the next second, the blood that contained the soul ripple flowed back into his body, and the wound on his chest quickly healed. Touching his chest, Yi Chen didn't feel anything strange at all. Flesh healing. I didn't expect that I could complete it so quickly. I thought it would take me a couple of years. When he got the cultivation method of the immortal body, Yi Chen had already prepared himself mentally. No matter how hard it would be, he would continue to cultivate it. Completing it within 2 to 3 months was definitely a pleasant surprise. Phew! Letting out a long breath, Yi Chen mumbled to himself, the second level of the immortal body is to regrow broken limbs. I don't dare to think about it for now. It's good that I don't have to spend so much time cultivating the immortal body, and I can spend more time improving other aspects. 3,000 miles away from the water ape's cave, the seawater was pitch black, and one couldn't even see their own fingers. Deep under the sea there was a faint light flickering. It was a kind of glowing crystal coral. Floating in the seawater, one couldn't see the sky or the ground. In such an environment, it was easy to develop feelings of despair and pessimism. It was like being isolated from the world, and all 5 senses had lost their function. Only the soul was left to question itself. Closing his eyes tightly, Yi Chen flicked his finger on the long emerald sword. Ding! The metallic sound lingered in his ears, and it seemed to contain some kind of mystery. What is that sound? Who dares to cause trouble in my Pang Sa's territory? There were many vassal beasts around the water ape's cave, and the rank 9 green pincer crab was one of them. The green pincer crab had always been tyrannical. Relying on its high defense and close combat ability, it didn't care about other beasts. Only the water ape in the water ape's cave could control it. Therefore, when it heard that someone dared to cause trouble in its territory, it was very angry. Pop! Moving its 8 legs quickly, the green pincer crab followed the sound and dashed out. Soon, the green pincer crab saw the culprit. It was a human in blue, and the source of the sound was his sword. The green pincer crab's finger tapped on it, and the sword vibrated. The sound spread out in all directions. The green pincer crab didn't know how to speak, so it could only wave its huge green pincer to create the rumbling sound of water to warn the other party. Bastard! How dare you ignore me? Seeing that Yi Chen still had his eyes closed and was still flicking the sword, the green pincer crab was so angry that it spat out a powerful water current. Yi Chen, who had his eyes closed, moved his left foot slightly, avoiding the water current. The green pincer crab was just about to rush up and cut the other party into pieces when Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes. As he opened his eyes, 2 beams of light red light shot out, lighting up a large area of seawater. Cut! Holding the sword high with both hands, the sword first shone with a green light, then a golden light. The green light and the golden light intertwined, and the seawater within 10 meters was immediately squeezed out, forming a spherical vacuum. Inside the vacuum, Yi Chen hacked down heavily. Boom. The seawater was stirred up, and a dazzling beam of sword light radiated out, spreading to an unknown distance. In silence, the seawater was separated by 100 meters, like a deep chasm. The green pincer crab on the side was shaken several miles away. It was dumbfounded, and its huge green pincer drooped down. Its eyes were full of fear and fear. If it had rushed up carelessly, there wouldn't have been anything left of it. The green pincer crab thought to itself. Putting the long sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen did not look at the green pincer crab as he thought to himself. After a week, my gold resonant radiant sword art has finally been trained to 50%, and its power has increased by 50%. Now it's time to move on to the gold profound. After staying in the water ape's cave for more than a month, Yi Chen had made a lot of progress. First, he had trained his spirit body to 99%, and he was only one step away from completing it. Then, he had trained his gold resonant radiant sword art to 50% as well, which was almost an improvement in every aspect. Turning around, Yi Chen flew toward the direction of the water ape's cave. He is gone. The green pincer crab let out a breath and hurried back to its cave. It thought that Yi Chen must have forgotten about its existence, and once the latter remembered, it would be doomed. So, it had to leave as soon as possible and not give the latter any chance. Chapter 497. Back in the cave, Yi Chen came to the stone room. There were a lot of water apes gathered in the hall. These water apes had gray fur and red pupils. Every one of them was 2 to 3 meters tall, and a few of them were even more than 4 meters tall, second only to the leader of the water ape race, Sun Tai. Judging from their aura, these 4 meters tall water apes were all ranked 10 beasts. Yi Chen, us beasts are not as good as you humans in terms of martial arts. It is extremely hard for us to learn the mentality. You are a genius among humans, so you should be very good at this. Do you have the guts to compete with me, Kong Xiaohui? A young rank 8 water ape walked out. Yi Chen knew that he did not mean any harm, but his rank was too low. He said, although we are at the same rank, you will not be my opponent. Do not underestimate me. Us water apes are not normal beasts. Our talents are all above the mid-rank. Those low-rank beasts cannot compete with us. The young water ape was a bit angry. If that is the case, then bring it on. Other than having a bad temper, water apes were also stubborn. There was no point in talking anymore, so Yi Chen had to let him know the gap between them. On the empty ground outside of the room, Yi Chen and the young water ape stood 100 meters away from each other, surrounded by a large number of other water apes. They were chatting and whispering to each other. Who do you guys think will win, Xiaohui or Yi Chen? Of course it would be Xiaohui. Battling at the same level, the beasts usually have the advantage. Even if Yi Chen is a martial genius among humans, Xiaohui is also a martial genius of our water ape race. Plus, our water apes are all mid-rank. Hard to say. We will not know until we fight. The battle is about to begin. Hearing this, the other water apes all quieted down. Take this. His gray fur danced in the air as Kong Xiaohui raised his bowl-sized fist and rushed out like an arrow, throwing a punch at Yi Chen. As this punch was thrown out, a large amount of water yuan qi gathered over, turning into streams of water that swirled around Kong Xiaohui's fist crazily. A powerful beast power vibration exploded. Back out. Yi Chen did not move his body. He put up his right index and middle fingers and pointed at Kong Xiaohui's fist. Bang. The water exploded and Kong Xiaohui was sent flying backward. Much of his gray hair was cut off by the invisible sword qi, and his hair flew everywhere. Damn it, big. Kong Xiaohui's face turned purple and his 2.5-meter tall body suddenly expanded to 25 meters tall, then 250 meters tall. His crimson eyes shot out 2 beams of light, like 2 searchlights, and his nostrils blew out like a whirlwind. Take another punch from me. Kong Xiaohui did not need to move at all. He simply stood on the spot and punched out. His arm, which was over 100 meters long, crossed the distance between the two of them and instantly arrived before Yi Chen. What was even more terrifying was that in battle, the water ape's demonic energy multiplied. The tip of his fist was filled with water and lightning, like a series of exploding fireworks. Kong Xiaohui didn't need to move and neither did Yi Chen. He pointed his finger at the center of Kong Xiaohui's fist. Brr. The sound of a sword ringing could be heard. All the water apes could clearly see a huge illusory sword condensed on top of Yi Chen's sword fingers. The next second, the water current and lightning on Kong Xiaohui's fist were directly shaved off, and the gray hair on his entire arm was also shaved off, leaving him bald. Then he was sent flying backwards, crashing into a mountain. Gasp. The sound of people gasping was heard, and all the water apes looked shocked. Kong Xiaohui was a peak level 8 water ape, while Yi Chen was a peak level astral reaching realm warrior. The two were at the same level, but their battling power was worlds apart. Kong Xiaohui couldn't even handle one finger sword attack from Yi Chen. Yi Chen, I Kong Dalei would like to see what you can do. Kong Xiaohui was already one of the top geniuses among the rank 8 water apes. If even he couldn't handle one attack from Yi Chen, then it would be embarrassing for the others. Therefore no rank 8 water ape stood out. Instead it was a rank 9 water ape. He had changed into his battle mode right from the start, reaching 2,800 meters tall. His eyes were like stars. Besides not being as aggressive as Sun Xiaojin, his aura was not bad either. Don't worry. The water ape cave has a restrictive power covering it. You and I can fight as much as we want. Kong Dalei looked down at Yi Chen. Yi Chen held his sword handle and said, No need for all this trouble. If you can handle this sword attack of mine, then I will lose. The water ape race had always been straightforward, and Yi Chen didn't beat around the bush either. Too arrogant. Let's see how I, Kong Dalei, beat you. Kong Dalei crossed his arms and suddenly pulled them apart. A violent demonic power surged out, and all the gray fur on his body stood erect. His entire ape body seemed to have swelled up a lot. It could no longer be described as awe-inspiring, but rather terrifying, just like a berserk beast. Ape roar bomb. Opening his bloody mouth, Kong Dalei shot out a bright light wave at Yi Chen. It was crystal clear and the energy was highly concentrated. Yi Chen's body kept moving. He took a step forward, crossing the light wave and arriving above Kong Dalei's head. Amaranthan nature. The emerald long sword was taken out of its scabbard. A flame-like blue light gathered on the tip of the sword as it stabbed onto Kong Dalei's forehead. Pop. The sword tip did not manage to stab through, but the attacking power was endless. No matter how much beast power Kong Dalei used, it was still useless. His huge ape body rolled a couple of times on the ground, and a huge amount of hair on his forehead had been shaved off. Putting the sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen's body flashed once before returning to where he was standing. Is this guy really a human? He beat Dalei beyond his realm. This is so horrifying. It seems like among the young generation of our water ape race, only Xiaojin could beat him. The others would not be able to do so. Yeah. Once Xiaojin turns into his battling mode, he would be invincible within the same realm. But he has not reached the Sea of Souls realm yet. Once he becomes a Sea of Souls realm warrior, I wonder how powerful he would be. Yi Chen's power had shocked all of the water apes. In their minds, human beings had always been relatively weak, and their Zhenyuan was extremely thin. Of course, the purification effect of human martial arts was also horrifying. Zhenyuan was many times purer than their beast power, which made up for some of the disadvantages. However, the difference in quantity was still too huge. What are you guys doing? Sun Xiaojin, who was not the tallest but had a horrifying aggressive aura, walked over. Xiaojin, this Yi Chen is more powerful than we thought. Why don't you show your power as well? A young water ape tried to encourage Sun Xiaojin. Sun Xiaojin rolled his eyes. Idiot. Of course he is powerful. Otherwise how could Grandpa pick him? Show me some power? Which one of you can take one stick attack from me? Yi Chen. My cultivation is one realm higher than his. Even if I win, it would not be a good thing. Wait until he becomes a Sea of Souls realm warrior, then I will battle with him, but not now. Hearing him, all of the young water apes were disappointed. Sun Xiaojin was proud, and it would be impossible for him to battle with Yi Chen, who was one realm lower than him. Yi Chen forced a smile and said, I am not Brother Sun's opponent. There is no doubt about it. Battling with a higher realm would also depend on the opponent. Sun Xiaojin had top-rank potential, and when he changed into his battle mode, he had wounded 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts with one punch. And it was still under the condition that he had not used all of his power. No matter how arrogant Yi Chen was, he had to admit that he was not Sun Xiaojin's opponent at all. Yi Chen, come with me. I will take you to a good training place. Sun Xiaojin suddenly said. What place? Follow me and you will know. Alright. Yi Chen nodded and followed Sun Xiaojin out of the water ape cave. After leaving the water ape cave, the two broke out of the water and flew toward the northwest direction. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, the two arrived at an ocean with a creepy aura. The environment of this ocean was extremely bad, and there were countless deep ocean swirls on the surface of the ocean. They varied in size, with the biggest ones being hundreds of kilometers in size while the smallest ones were only dozens of meters in size. In the sky, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The tornado brought up water columns shooting up into the sky. That horrifying tearing power could definitely tear a normal astral-reaching realm warrior into pieces. Let's go down. Waving his stick, Sun Xiaojin shattered a few miles thick water column and jumped into the ocean. Yi Chen followed him without hesitation. The undercurrents in the ocean were extremely turbulent, especially those swirls. Each of them had a horrifying suction power. Even a huge beast that was very far away had been dragged in and turned into meat paste. As the depth increased, the swirls got thinner and more condensed. They were completely transparent like crystals. Yi Chen suspected that the swirls here could already kill Sea of Souls realm warriors and rank 9 beasts. Yi Chen's guess was not wrong. Sun Xiaojin warned, "Be careful of those swirls. Even I cannot guarantee that I will be unscathed after entering. Some of the mutated swirls are even more powerful, and the yuan qi inside has already been compressed into a solid state." "Brother Sun, where are we going?" Yi Chen asked. Sun Xiaojin said, "Have you ever heard of the undersea spiral tunnel?" "No." To put it simply, the undersea spiral tunnel can help you increase your martial art realm faster. The deeper you go, the more pressure you will face. Up until now, no one has ever been to the bottom, including king warriors. I heard that there is some kind of horrifying thing sealed inside. I wonder if it is true or not. Soon the two arrived at the bottom of the ocean. In front of them was a gray light cover that had a diameter of hundreds of miles. There were a lot of beasts and humans standing inside. The South Shallow Sea Alliance has 6 leaders. 2 of them are humans, the Fierce Ocean King and the Blue Silver King. The martial institutions they lead are the Fierce Ocean School and the Silver Light Island. These people are all disciples of the latter. Sun Xiaojin introduced. Yi Chen had a weird expression on his face. It was his first time seeing so many people and so many beasts living together peacefully. Indeed, there was nothing impossible in this world. It is Sun Xiaojin from the water ape race. Who is that human right next to him? Being able to walk together with Sun Xiaojin, he must not be simple. Sun Xiaojin seemed to be quite famous. Before he had even arrived, he had already attracted a lot of attention. Even Yi Chen was being watched. In the human camp, there were also a lot of gazes that landed on Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen. Seeing that Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen were so close, they could not help but feel a bit jealous. Seeing this, Yi Chen rubbed his nose and looked at Sun Xiaojin, who was full of killing intent. His charm was way too great, and these humans were actually jealous of him. Chapter 498. In fact, it was not because of Sun Xiaojin's charm, but because of his great potential. All of the powerful parties in the South Shallow Sea Alliance had one requirement for their disciples, which was to avoid conflict with Sun Xiaojin as much as possible. If they could become normal friends with Sun Xiaojin, the power of the sect would focus on training them regardless of their potential. If they could become good friends with Sun Xiaojin, they would go from focusing on training to all-out training regardless of the cost. Even if they were rotten wood, they would make sure that they could be gilded. Of course, to be able to become friends with Sun Xiaojin, even if it was just a normal friend, their strength would not be too low. Otherwise, the two would not even have a place to interact, let alone become friends. And the reason for all of this was Sun Xiaojin's potential. Top-rank potential was extremely rare even in the ancient era. According to the probability, out of 10 top-ranked demonic beasts, at least 5 would be able to become demonic kings. In the water ape race, Sun Tai and Sun Xiaojin both had top-rank potential. Without any surprises, one of them would become demonic kings or even both of them would become demonic kings. If that were the case, the big parties in the South Shallow Sea Alliance would not pay so much attention to Sun Xiaojin. Inside Sun Xiaojin's body, besides the water ape bloodline, there was an even more noble bloodline called the red gold ape bloodline. It was one of the top ancient demonic beast bloodlines. Therefore, once Sun Xiaojin became a demonic king, he would completely activate the red gold evil ape bloodline and become a powerful demonic king. A powerful demonic king meant too much. After all, even king warriors had different levels of power. Top king warriors were way more powerful than normal king warriors in terms of power and deterrence. The best example would be the Dragon God's Celestial Palace in the East Shallow Sea. With the power of the old Dragon King alone, the other four powerful parties did not even dare to think about it. All these years, they had been waiting for the old Dragon King's life to run out. Sun Shaojin did not even look at the crowd as he led Yi Chen toward the palace in the center of the light cover. The palace was deep and spacious, and its color was ancient blue. In the center of the palace, there was an octagonal platform. On each of the 8 sides of the platform there was a stone tablet. The first stone tablet had the word sky, the second earth, the third mountain, followed by lake, thunder, wind, water, and fire. The stone tablets were extremely ancient, emitting a vast aura. The 8 stone tablets combined together seemed to be able to suppress everything. Sun Shaojin pointed at the circular hole in the middle of the platform and said, "This is the undersea spiral tunnel. This is your first time here, so you should train on the 7th floor. If you go any further down, you will feel extremely uncomfortable, and it will be hard for you to calm down and train. As for training inside, you do not need to worry about people plotting against you. No one would dare to attack you inside the tunnel." 7th floor? What are the requirements for the people who enter the tunnel? Normally, the higher your power, the deeper you will be able to go. However, this is only for us beasts. You humans can use martial arts to increase your power, but under the same cultivation, you will not be able to go as deep as us beasts. The pressure of the tunnel will affect 3 aspects: the willpower, the Zhenyuan, and the body. Your willpower is very powerful and your Zhenyuan is also very pure. However, the total amount is too little, which will cause your body to be under even more pressure. Once your body cannot handle it anymore, you will not be able to go any further and you will have to stop immediately. Let's go down then. Yi Chen also wanted to try out the mysteries of the tunnel. Let's go. Sun Shaojin walked onto the platform and arrived at the entrance of the tunnel. It was a spiral staircase. The hole was 20 meters in diameter, and the staircase was 9 meters wide. Near the wall of the staircase there were rooms that were 3 meters wide. Therefore, the staircase that could be walked on was only 6 meters wide. The two followed the staircase and started to go down. 1st floor. 2nd floor. 7th floor. Sun Shaojin was a bit surprised. He thought that the 7th floor would be Yi Chen's limit. He did not expect that he would be fine without any change in his expression. 8th floor. 9th floor. 13th floor. It seems like I have underestimated you. It was the first time that Sun Shaojin had seen an astral-reaching realm warrior reach the 13th floor. In the past, no one had even reached the 7th floor. Yi Chen said, "In terms of Zhenyuan and body, I do not have much of an advantage. But my willpower is more than enough to make up for it and surpass it." Willpower? Interesting. Those who walk on willpower will basically become top warriors. You are qualified to be my rival in the future. There were not many people who could get Sun Shaojin's approval. In other words, Yi Chen had made Sun Shaojin feel threatened. It was the kind of threat that he did not have much confidence in winning against Yi Chen at the same level. After reaching the 15th floor, Yi Chen finally felt that he had reached his limit. In terms of willpower, he could handle it easily, but his Zhenyuan and body could not handle any more pressure. Even if his willpower had cancelled out a part of it, he would not be able to avoid it. "Brother Sun, I will train here." Under the invisible pressure, even Yi Chen found it difficult to speak. Sun Shaojin nodded. His tall and sturdy body continued to walk down. Soon he disappeared on the next floor. Retracting his gaze, Yi Chen was about to let out a breath to relieve the pressure. But just as he opened his mouth, he closed it immediately. He was afraid that if he let out a breath, it would cause an imbalance between the pressure inside and outside, which would cause his chest bones to collapse and cause serious injuries. I should still be careful. Arriving at the door of the room next to him, Yi Chen opened the door and walked in. The room was neither too big nor too small, 3 meters in both width and length. There was only a cushion on the floor and nothing else. Sitting on the cushion with his legs crossed, Yi Chen closed his eyes and entered the training mode. So slow. In the past, once Yi Chen activated his martial art, his Zhenyuan would circulate at a high speed like a rushing river. But in the tunnel, the Zhenyuan circulation speed was reduced by 10 times. Every step forward was extremely difficult, as if there was a mountain inside. My body is at its limit and so is my Zhenyuan. Fortunately, my willpower is more than enough. Otherwise, training here would not be worth it and it would be hard to concentrate. Yi Chen had a preliminary understanding of the underwater tunnel's function. It was to use the pressure to push one to their limit, allowing them to improve even faster. Of course, too much pressure was not a good thing since a person's potential could not be forced out all of a sudden. If one could not even move his mind, then there would be no training at all. There had to be a limit, and that limit would have to be controlled by oneself. Soon Yi Chen realized that the slow circulation speed of Zhen Yuan was not a bad thing. Sometimes, if the circulation speed was too fast, it would be easy to miss out on the details. But now that it had slowed down, Yi Chen had a new understanding of the Green Lotus Sword spell. He could clearly see the minute changes when the Zhen Yuan was circulating. Every meridian it passed through actually had a slight difference. When the Zhen Yuan passes through this meridian, it will produce a slow acceleration effect. The inner wall of this meridian is not smooth, which causes the Zhen Yuan to vibrate. After 1 month, Yi Chen had actually trained to the peak of the 14th realm of the Green Lotus Sword spell, and had made 2 breakthroughs. It should be known that there were 5 breakthroughs from the peak of the 14th realm to the 15th realm. Making 2 breakthroughs was definitely unexpected. Normally, when most people came to the underwater tunnel, they would be able to train faster. However, Yi Chen's willpower was just too powerful. He was only at the peak of late astral reaching realm, but he had the master level sword intent. This kind of willpower had allowed him to perform extremely well under extreme pressure. It was all because of the pressure, because only pressure could bring out the real advantage of the soul power. Before, he could only use 20 to 30% of his soul power. But now, thinking about it, he realized that it was such a waste of resources. The more pressure there is, the more potential I have. I'm still far from reaching my limit. But, once I understand the advantage of the soul power, it means that the future will not be peaceful anymore. How could normal training create pressure? Forcing a smile, Yi Chen thought to himself, doesn't this mean that I am the reason for the chaos in this era? I am one of the reasons for the chaos in this world. Yi Chen had never thought that he would not be able to become a life and death realm warrior. Therefore, when the world was in chaos, he would be one of the most important people. Also, he had to thank Xiao Feng Sen Drizzle for tipping him 20,000 Qidian coins, and Watermelon Skin N0 for tipping him 20,000 Qidian coins. I didn't expect you to be able to improve so quickly on your first visit. You're really abnormal among humans. Sun Xiaojin was very shocked at Yi Chen's training speed. What kind of person is this? He gets stronger every once in a while. If I don't work harder, I will be surpassed by him sooner or later. Sun Xiaojin was a prideful person. Becoming the Beast King had always been his goal. He had always thought that he would be able to walk in front of the young generation and be the best. Therefore, even though his grandpa Sun Tai had high hopes for Yi Chen, he had only thought that Yi Chen's potential was close to his, and had not reached his level yet. But now he no longer thought so. This human genius was definitely the most horrifying genius he had ever met. Yi Chen smiled and looked outside the hall. He asked curiously, why is there no one here? Sun Xiaojin frowned, I don't know either. Maybe something big happened? Let's get back to the water ape cave as soon as possible. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. Walking out of the hall and leaving the gray light cover, the two flew toward the water ape cave at their fastest speed. Half a day later, the two arrived at the cave. You guys are back. Come to my place. A voice reached the two's ears. It was the leader of the water ape race, Sun Tai. Yi Chen and Sun Xiaojin exchanged a look, then walked toward the stone hall behind the stone room. Inside the stone hall, Sun Tai was sitting on top. Sun Xiaojin asked, Grandpa, what happened? Sun Tai forced a smile. There is a battle. Is it the deep sea power? Sun Xiaojin obviously knew something. Indeed. This time they came with a lot of energy. I'm afraid they are preparing for a long battle. The Alliance has already started to deploy troops in the underwater plateau. My water ape race has also sent a team of 500 people. The leader is your second grandpa Sun, and the second and third leaders are your first and third grandpa Kong. Yi Chen did not understand. Senior Sun, what is this battle and the deep sea power? Is it very dangerous? Sun Tai explained, indeed. Sun Tai explained, the 30 million miles of the true spirit continent's ocean is the shallow ocean, and beyond that is the deep ocean. In between the two is a circle of underwater plateaus. The deep ocean is extremely vast, and does not have much contact with our shallow ocean. But it is not absolute either. Some of the deep ocean powers near the shallow ocean have always been eyeing the shallow ocean's geographical location, wanting to take over the shallow ocean. Of course, our shallow ocean powers would not allow that. Every few years we would have a battle with them. There are too many shallow ocean powers in the south, and we do not have enough cohesiveness. Therefore we have gradually formed the South Shallow Ocean Alliance. The main purpose of the alliance is to gather everyone's power together and fight against the deep ocean powers. In front of them, Sun Xiaojin had killed more deep-sea soldiers than Yi Chen and the rest combined. Every time he waved his dark blue iron stick, dozens of lives would be taken. His red eyes shot out horrifying beams of light. Whoa! A 10,000-meter-long deep-sea whale shark charged at Sun Xiaojin. It was a rank 9 ocean beast, and it was extremely talented and powerful. Expand, expand, expand. Putting away his iron stick, Sun Xiaojin's body instantly expanded to 3,000 meters tall. He threw out a punch that contained wind, fire, thunder and water, shattering the deep-sea whale shark into pieces. Little bastard, you're courting death. The water apes were not the only ones who knew how to talk. In fact, as long as the ocean beasts wanted to, they could learn how to talk. It was not hard at all. A rank 9 deep-sea serpent spoke human language as its 10,000-meter-long body coiled around Sun Xiaojin, tightly strangling him. Sun Xiaojin roared towards the sky, revealing his sharp teeth. He grabbed the deep-sea serpent's body with both of his hands and exerted his strength, forcibly tearing it apart. The deep-sea serpent had a strong life force. Even after its body was torn apart, its upper body still coiled around Sun Xiaojin's body. Its hill-sized head bit on his head, wanting to swallow him whole. However, Sun Xiaojin's defense was just as powerful as his battle power. The deep-sea serpent bit down and one of its teeth was immediately broken. Burning sparks flew everywhere as if they were smashing iron. A loud clanging sound rang out, shaking the deep-sea serpent to the point of dizziness. Seizing the opportunity, Sun Xiaojin's huge right hand grabbed the deep-sea serpent's neck, his fingernails digging deep into it. With a cracking sound, the deep-sea serpent's head was separated from its body. The upper half of its body drooped down, leaving only its head on Sun Xiaojin's head. Taking off the head, Sun Xiaojin smashed it with one punch, his ominous qi spreading everywhere. Whoosh! A cyan-colored sword qi with a hint of gold in it sliced through the ocean water. Wherever the sword qi passed, the ocean water was instantly annihilated, leaving a 3,000 meters long sword mark. All of the deep-sea soldiers within the range of the sword mark were shaken to death. The defense that they were so proud of did not have much of an effect under the mysterious vibrating power. With his soul power on alert, Yi Chen spared some time to observe the surrounding situation. It was chaotic, extremely chaotic. Almost every inch of space was being ravaged by qi. Countless soldiers were fighting in every area. Some were fighting in groups of 3 to 5, some were fighting in groups, some were fighting in battle formations and some were attacking each other. At this moment, even the shockwaves could not be discharged smoothly, and they filled the battlefield. Kill them. A group of iron shell lobsters stared at Yi Chen and the 30 water apes. These iron shell lobsters had huge bodies and black shells. Their huge pincers were dozens of meters long, which could easily tear apart the bodies of the Alliance soldiers. The leading iron shell lobster was a rank 10 one. The beast power inside its body did not need to explode out intentionally, but it was already able to cause the surrounding ocean water to shake violently. Maintain the battle formation and work together. Yi Chen only had one order. After speaking, he rushed toward the leading iron shell lobster. Boom. The two sides clashed together, causing the qi power to explode. 13 humans have already died in my hands. You will be the 14th. The rank 10 iron shell lobster waved its huge pincer, smashing toward Yi Chen's head. Using sword steps, Yi Chen dodged the attack like a sword light. He then stabbed out with the long sword in his hand, causing a dot of cyan light to appear on the tip of the sword. Swoosh! The protective beast power of the iron shell lobster was penetrated, and a sword hole appeared on its back. Blue blood kept flowing out. The iron shell lobster was a bit surprised. Its tail suddenly flicked, blowing away Yi Chen's long sword. Yi Chen used the momentum to spin his body and shoot out waves of Lotus Heart Sword Chi. Each sword chi's power was equal to the 9th movement of the Green Lotus Sword Art, Amaranthine Nature. Oh! The iron shell lobster was terrified. He could feel the power of the Lotus Heart Sword Chi, so his protective beast power was increased to its limit. A pair of huge pincers crossed, protecting his chest and head. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sword chi tornado created by the Lotus Heart Sword Chi was too horrifying. The protective beast power of the iron shell lobster was broken into hundreds of holes, and the extremely tough pincers could not handle the continuous attacks of the sword chi either. They were all cut off within a second. In the next second, dozens of Lotus Heart Sword Chi pierced through the eyes, forehead, and mouth of the iron shell lobster. After killing the iron shell lobster, Yi Chen did not care too much. Although it was at rank 10, there were strong and weak ones among the rank 10 sea beast. The iron shell lobster's battling power was at most the same as a normal spirit warrior, or even slightly weaker. Only its defense was a bit stronger. On the other side, 3 of the 30 young water apes had been killed. Go to hell. Kong Xiaowei rushed out of the battle formation, his eyes bloodthirsty. Go back. Yi Chen came back in time and pushed Kong Xiaowei back to his original position. At the same time, a new round of Lotus Heart Sword Chi blossomed, and the Sword Chi tornado ravaged the group of iron shell lobsters. Oh, oh, oh. Even the rank 10 iron shell lobsters could not handle the Sword Chi tornado of Yi Chen, not to mention the rank 7 and 8 iron shell lobsters. All of a sudden, more than 50 iron shell lobsters had been shredded into pieces by the Sword Chi tornado. Not even their bones were left behind. Putting away the pellet, Yi Chen was just about to scold Kong Xiaowei when the sound of the horn was heard. Hearing the sound, the soldiers of the South Shallow Ocean Alliance started to back out. The soldiers of the Deep Ocean did not chase after them either, and started to back out as well. The first battle had ended just like that. Chapter 501. Inside the camp of the water ape race, the second master saw that Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen had returned safely, so he let out a breath and asked, "Did any of you fall?" Kong Xiaowei said with a sad face, "Sun Xinqi, Kong Xiaoxia, and Kong Xiaoyan are all dead." Kong Xiaoyan was his lover, which was why he had been so impulsive. The second master sighed, "There will definitely be deaths in the war. Right now the alliance is counting the casualties. But, we water ape race lost 43 warriors and you only lost 3. It is already out of my expectation." Kong Xiaowei glanced at Yi Chen. If it were not for him, he would have been dead for sure, and a lot of the other young water apes would have died as well. After half an hour, the death toll had been tallied. A total of 8,545 soldiers had died, which was about 1/30th of the entire army. Among them, there were more than 300 rank 9 sea beasts, 20 rank 10 sea beasts, and nearly 40 Sea of Soul Realm experts. This is so cruel. One battle and so many rank 9 and 10 beasts have died, as well as Sea of Souls Realm warriors. If they were grouped together, they would be able to take out dozens of rank 6 martial institutions. But this amount of casualties should be nothing for the South Shallow Ocean Alliance, right? After all, there are more than 3,000 different forces in the South Shallow Ocean Alliance, including 6 rank 5 forces. The South Shallow Ocean was about 1/3 of the whole True Spirit continent. So, it was not hard to imagine how many of them would survive. Letting out a breath, Yi Chen looked at the water apes in the camp, wondering how many of them would survive after the battle. Of course he would not be able to see it. This battle would last at least 3 to 5 years, and it might even last for 10 to 20 years. He would not be able to stay here for a long time. Once he stabilized his power completely and could not make another breakthrough, it would be time for him to go back to the continent. The first battle was huge, so there were a lot of casualties. In the following period of time, the scale of the battles had decreased a lot, and they were all small fights. You would send out a team to attack and the other would send out a team to harass you. The two sides were very patient. 62. Yi Chen carved 6 yuan characters on the wooden board of the camp. The 7th one only had 2 strokes, so there were 62 of them in total, which meant that he had killed 62 enemies. This was the tradition of the Water Ape clan, and also the proof of hard work. Turning his head to look at Sun Xiaojin's wooden board, Yi Chen shook his head and smiled bitterly. Sun Xiaojin was indeed a battle maniac. The number of enemies he had killed was more than twice of his own. In just 2 months of fighting he had killed more than 140 people, and most of them were killed in the first battle. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. An ear-piercing sound reverberated in the vicinity. All the water apes rushed out, their bodies surrounded by murderous auras, and their eyes were bloodshot. Yichen was not too nervous. He had experienced this kind of sneak attack several times. Second Grandpa's son had also led them to sneak attack the deep-sea forces twice. Because there were way too many Alliance soldiers and they were scattered all over the place, sometimes when one camp was attacked, the other camps would not be able to get there in time. By the time they got there, the enemies would have already left. Therefore, when they were attacked, they would have to fight back with all their might and wait for the reinforcements. Or, if they were powerful enough, they would not need reinforcements. But, if they were not powerful enough and the enemies were too powerful, the result would be very miserable. After all, the enemies had chosen to sneak attack, so they would definitely bring a lot of warriors with them. There were over 1,000 bloodthirsty octopuses charging over. The bloodthirsty octopuses' bodies were as big as mountains, and their 8 tentacles were incredibly long. The most terrifying thing was that even if the bloodthirsty octopuses' tentacles were cut off, they would continue to grow, giving them a trace of an undying body. Boom. However, the first one to attack was not the bloodthirsty octopuses, but Sun Shaojin in his battle mode. His body was 3,000 meters tall, and with one punch, wind, fire, thunder, and water gathered together. One of the octopuses did not have the time to dodge or defend, and was turned into pieces directly. The rest of the octopuses were furious. Their bodies were surrounded by the blood-red beast power, and countless tentacles attacked. You are looking for death. Although the octopuses were hard to deal with, there was more than just one camp of the water ape race. There were 7 or 8 camps nearby, and the total number of soldiers was almost 1,500, which was a bit more than the octopuses. Therefore, seeing the octopuses attack, all of them fought back. Yichen waved out a sword attack, and the sword chi cut off a huge number of octopus tentacles. These octopuses found out that after being cut off, their tentacles could not be recovered right away, as if something was draining their life force away. The more I kill, the more powerful my slaughter element is. On the battlefield, Yichen would only use his slaughter sword intent. He rarely used his destruction sword intent and immortal sword intent, because the slaughter sword intent would not be any weaker than the other 2 sword intents. It would be much easier for him to deal with the ocean beasts. Plus, after a long time of killing, Yichen's slaughter element seemed to have changed a bit. The killing chi contained within it seemed to be something that even the octopuses, which had super recovery abilities, could not do anything to. Another sword chi shot out, and another 2 octopuses were cut into pieces. This battle did not last for long. After about 15 minutes, the octopuses left behind dozens of dead bodies and retreated quickly, which prevented the reinforcement forces from attacking. In the blink of an eye, 8 months had passed. Including the first 2 months, this battle had been going on for a full 10 months. The number of casualties on both sides was more than 50,000. Do not underestimate this number because in these 10 months, there had only been 3 large-scale battles. One was on the first day, one was 4 months ago, and one was 3 days ago. The rest of the time they were just probing each other. After each probing, the number of casualties was at most a few hundred and at least a dozen. Moreover, there might not even be a probing battle in a week. Therefore, out of the 50,000 casualties, more than half were caused by these 3 large-scale battles. Inside the water ape race's camp, Yichen had carved 32 yuan characters on his wooden board, which meant that he had killed 320 enemies, while Sun Shaojin had killed 550 enemies. It was easy to see that the gap between Yichen and Sun Shaojin was shrinking. At the beginning, Sun Shaojin had killed twice as many enemies as Yichen, but now it was not even twice as much. Inside the soundproof tent belonging to Yichen was sitting on the ground with his legs crossed, meditating with his eyes closed. His body was shrouded in a murderous aura. This aura was formless and formless, traceless and traceless. However, a single glance at it would definitely cause one to shiver. This aura was too terrifying. It was as if it could invade one's mind, cutting one's soul and killing one's life. All of a sudden, the killing chi fluctuated and poured into Yichen's forehead. Inside the sea of soul, all of the killing chi rushed in, each strand after strand of it was imprinted on an ancient longsword sword spirit embryo. As the killing chi continued to imprint, the ancient longsword started to change. Not only did the sword body gradually turn a bloodthirsty red, but the sword intent radiance it was emitting also changed from silver to light red. It was the color of killing, the color of cruelty. As the killing chi completely imprinted on the ancient longsword, the Sea of Soul nearby fluctuated again, and a new ancient longsword was born. Chapter 502. Slaughter Sword Soul Embryo? Two Great Sword Soul Embryos? Yi Chen opened his eyes and 2-foot-long beams of light shot out. Originally, Yi Chen's Sword Soul Embryo was just an ordinary Sword Soul Embryo, which was no different from other sword artists. However, Yi Chen had mastered 3 great sword intents, which were Immortal, Destruction, and Slaughter. These 3 great sword intents were hidden in his Sea of Soul, and with a single thought, he could brand them on his sword intents. However, it was precisely because of the additional sword intents in his Sea of Soul that it was extremely difficult to improve the Sword Soul Embryo. It was as if something was hindering him from cultivating the Sword Soul Embryo and achieving higher achievements in the Sword Dao. But now, the slaughter intents hidden in his Sea of Soul had been completely branded on the Sword Soul Embryo. In the future, when Yi Chen activated the Slaughter Sword Soul Embryo, it would directly be the Slaughter Sword intent, a pure Slaughter Sword intent. The Immortal and Destruction intents could no longer interfere with it. Of course, because it was a pure Slaughter Sword intent, its power was much stronger than before, and it had leapt to become the head of Yi Chen's sword intents. As for the other 2 intents, it was not that he could not use them for the time being, because another Sword Soul Embryo had appeared in his Sea of Soul. This Sword Soul Embryo was still an ordinary Sword Soul Embryo, and the sword intent it could activate was also an ordinary sword intent. Therefore, the Immortal and Destruction intents could be branded on the Sword Soul Embryo at any time. The Slaughter intents are already so powerful. If I brand the Destruction intents on the Sword Soul Embryo in the future, wouldn't it be even more powerful? The Immortal intents is the head of the 3 great intents, and it has an indelible effect. The reason why I can be so powerful in the Sword Soul Embryo is all because of the Immortal intents. With it, my foundation is incomparably firm. I wonder what will happen if I brand it on the Sword Soul Embryo? Yi Chen would never forget the power of the Immortal attribute. It allowed him to condense a Sword Soul Embryo in advance, allowing him to smoothly receive the Slaughter Sword intent impact of the Dual Sword King's Will image, allowing him to resist the Destruction Sword intent impact of the Iron Sword King's Will image. Without the Immortal attribute, his life would have been completely different, and he would have walked on a completely different path. However, the strangest thing is that my soul is able to bear 2 great Sword Soul Embryos. One is the Slaughter Sword Soul Embryo, and the other is a normal Sword Soul Embryo. If there is no accident, when the Destruction element is imprinted on the normal Sword Soul Embryo, there will be another normal Sword Soul Embryo. No wonder I have never heard of anyone who has 2 sword intents. Because 2 sword intents will condense into 2 Sword Soul Embryos. How can the soul bear it? As for me, I should be an exception. Regardless of whether he was an exception or not, Yi Chen clearly knew that his path of willpower was the correct one. On this path he was the king. Oh. After participating in the battle for 10 months, it should be about time for me to go back. Sun Shaojin and the other young water apes will also have to go back alive. As for what happens in the future, it has nothing to do with me. Thinking up to here, Yi Chen walked out of the tent. One day later, Yi Chen, Sun Shaojin, and the surviving young water apes returned to the water ape cave through the conveyor gate. You are leaving? Inside the stone palace, Sun Tai was not surprised to hear the news. Yi Chen nodded and said, I have left the continent for almost 15 months. I have to go back. Adding the 2 months of training in Thunder City and the time spent on the road, it had been 18 months since the last tea gathering. 18 months was 1.5 years. In another half a year, it would be the date of the next tea gathering. This time he would be the host. Alright then. Be careful on the way and do not be careless. Also, if you run into any trouble, my water ape race will help as much as possible. Sun Tai reminded. Many thanks for Senior Sun's concern. Yi Chen will be careful. As for my 2 friends, I'll have to trouble the water ape race to take care of them. At this moment, Sun Shaojin said, True Spirit Continent, I will go. I hope the next time I see you we can fight to our heart's content. Of course. In that case, Yi Chen will take his leave. Leaving the water ape cave, Yi Chen arrived in the sky above the boundless ocean. Taking out his flying puppet, he leaped up and sat cross-legged. Shwa. The flying puppet flew at 10 times the speed of sound, disappearing into the horizon in the blink of an eye. 1 month later, South Rudra region Sky Cloud Sect. The Cool Breeze Mountain where the Sky Cloud Sect was located was the same as usual. The disciples who were doing missions were doing them, and those who were cultivating in an orderly manner. On the way up the mountain, there were many disciples coming and going, all chatting. Ever since Supreme Elder Yi Chen won the first place in the Hidden Dragon ranking, our Sky Cloud sect's luck has been getting more and more prosperous. In the past few years we've had 9 new Supreme Elders. The former Elder Luo Hanshan has also become the sect leader, and the former sect leader has abdicated, becoming the Supreme Elder. Adding the original 3 Supreme Elders, our Sky Cloud sect has 12 Supreme Elders in total, more than the Emerald Valley. Yeah. The Emerald Valley has 3 more Supreme Elders, which is far inferior to us. The North Snow Academy is a bit more impressive, having 4 more. Our Sky Cloud sect became a 7th grade sect a year ago. This was the first time they had met each other. Yi Chen smiled. Congratulations on becoming the leader of Sky Cloud sect. Now, as long as I wander around in the martial world, people will come to befriend me and ask about you. Zhang Haoran is even more miserable. The story of you competing with him has become a legend in the martial world. People say that you walked over the corpses of geniuses. Zhang Haoran's mouth twitched, but he was not unhappy, because he had long since given up on competing with Yi Chen. In fact, people talking about him and Yi Chen together was already praising him. His biggest goal from now on was to step into the Sea of Souls realm, and he would work hard for it. Yi Chen suddenly sighed. 9 years had passed in the blink of an eye. 9 years ago he was still an odd-job disciple, not even an outer disciple. Then he climbed up step by step. Outer disciple, inner disciple, elder, supreme elder. The past was like a dream, vivid in his mind. 9 years had passed and everyone had grown up. At least they could no longer be described as youngsters. Thinking back to the past, how could Yi Chen not sigh with emotion? He sighed at how the passage of time had changed everyone, turning them from ignorant youngsters into ambitious youngsters. The only thing that made Yi Chen a bit helpless was that everyone seemed a lot more distant when they met again. Luo Hanshan, Zhu Mei, Wu Zongming and Zhang Haoran were all like strangers. Although they still looked the same on the surface, Yi Chen's observational ability was extremely sharp. He could tell with a glance that they were a bit uneasy. This time, apart from checking on the situation of the martial school and you guys, the second thing is to prepare for the next martial tea gathering. Retracting his sigh, Yi Chen said. Luo Hanshan's eyes brightened. We can participate in the martial tea gathering. He naturally knew that he was not powerful enough, but Yi Chen was the host of the next martial tea gathering. Perhaps as long as he agreed he would be able to let them participate. Who didn't know what it meant to participate in the martial tea gathering? Not only could it broaden one's vision, it could also stimulate one's hidden potential. Through some rumors, he knew that people from the South Rudra region who had participated in the last martial tea gathering had trained extremely hard and made great progress after coming back. Yi Chen shook his head. The martial tea gathering has its own rules which cannot be broken. Otherwise, in the long run, the level of the martial tea gathering would drop. Hearing him, Luo Hanshan, Zhu Mei, and even Zhang Haoran were a bit sad. Indeed, the martial tea gathering was not a place to open a back door. However, the host of the martial tea gathering has a special privilege. He can choose 50 people to watch the tea gathering from afar. In the last tea gathering, there were 50 people watching the tea gathering from a tower in the splendid garden. Of course, they were 10 li away from the venue. However, this distance was still acceptable for astral-reaching experts. It was just that they couldn't get a closer feel of the atmosphere, that's all. Really, I should be able to be chosen. Luo Hanshan was extremely nervous. Cloud Dreamer and the other two couldn't help but laugh. The current Luo Hanshan didn't look like the leader at all. But it was understandable since he was still young. Yi Chen didn't answer directly but asked, how many people in my Sky Cloud sect who have already reached the astral-reaching realm before the age of 30? Zhu Mei said, 4 in total. Me, Luo Hanshan, Zhang Haoran and Meng Chong. There are also many people who have reached half-step Zhen Yuan. Oh, Meng Chong has also reached the astral-reaching realm? Yi Chen was a bit surprised but soon felt relieved. Even Zhang Haoran had entered, so there was no reason for Meng Chong not to. His talent was even higher than Zhang Haoran's. Speaking of which, for astral-reaching experts under the age of 30 was still a bit too little. But that was because Yi Qin had set his sights too high, comparing the Sky Cloud sect to a rank 6 sect. For a rank 6 sect, for new astral-reaching experts were indeed pitifully little. They would need at least a dozen. Wu Zongming, I'm sorry. Privilege is privilege, but privilege also has a bottom line. Yi Qin looked at Wu Zongming apologetically. Wu Zongming said carelessly, Yi Qin, I am not unhappy. Even if you asked me to go and watch, I would not go. Otherwise, people would say that our South Rudra region does not even have enough young astral-reaching realm warriors, and that we brought a peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm warrior. It's good that you think like that. Pausing for a second, Yi Qin said to Lu Hanshan and the other two, you four can go watch the martial tea gathering together. I will build a tower in the heavy mysterious mountain. Lu Hanshan let out a breath, then suddenly thought of something. Yi Qin, you rarely come back. Can you meet the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School on the plaza? It won't take long, just a few words will do. You know, a lot of people have never seen you before and they have always wanted to see you in person. Sure. Yi Qin hesitated for a second, then nodded. Meeting someone was a small thing for him, but it could satisfy thousands of people's wishes. Once in a while it would be fine. On the huge plaza there was an ocean of people. All the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School had arrived, as well as attendants, outer elders, inner elders, leaders and great elders. At this moment the Sky Cloud Martial School was defenseless. Of course, no one would be stupid enough to invade the Sky Cloud Martial School. It's the great elder Yi Qin. I finally got to see him in person. I'm so excited. So young. Only in his 20s. How great would it be if I could marry him? Being so close to a legendary figure, I feel like I'm dreaming. All the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School were so excited, and so were the elders. They felt like they had become much younger, especially when Yi Qin looked at them. Standing behind him were the leader of the school, Lu Hanshan, and 12 great elders. Yi Qin cleared his throat to calm everyone down. As if he had some kind of magic power, the previously noisy plaza suddenly quieted down. Even the sound of a needle dropping on the ground could be heard. 9 years ago, I was still a servant disciple. In the same year, I worked hard to become an outer disciple, then an inner disciple. Back then, I was just like you, working hard to become a powerful warrior. Now, I have already succeeded half of it and I am working hard for the other half. Therefore, as long as you work hard, you can also succeed. Perhaps your achievements will be limited, but as long as you work hard, you will not regret it. Abruptly, Yi Qin pulled out his long sword. His blue robe and long hair fluttered in the air as he swung his sword towards the sky above the windy mountain. Boom. The sword chi swept across the sky, the clouds in the sky were torn apart, and the protective screen of the stunning sky was split open. At first glance, the sky seemed to have been completely split open by this sword attack. The crack was tens of thousands of meters long and tens of meters wide. Including the 12 great elders, everyone gasped in shock. What kind of power was this? Standing on the ground, he was able to split open the stunning sky with a single sword attack, causing the sky to change color and thunder to roar. Invisible sword chi coiled around Yi Qin's body. A gigantic dragon formed from dragon fountain chi rushed up from the base of the windy mountain and enveloped Yi Qin. Yi Qin glanced around and said, I hope that one day all of you can reach this level. Do you have the confidence? Yes. Their voices reached to the sky and shook the entire area. Together with the gigantic dragon on Yi Qin's body, the scene became an eternal picture. Alright, today's meeting is over. You all work hard. After that, Yi Qin finished his speech. Next, Lu Hanshan started to disperse the crowd, even though many of them did not want to leave. At the same time, all of the martial institutions in the Windy Nation had sensed the change in the Sky Cloud Martial School. The dragon fountain chi rushing up was way too powerful. In the South Rudra Martial School, Long Bai looked towards the direction of the Sky Cloud Martial School. He's actually able to make the dragon vein chi appear. Just what level has he reached? Once the dragon fountain chi left the hidden dragon ancient city, it would hide itself and no one would be able to sense it. But now, the whole area around the Sky Cloud Martial School had changed drastically. Dragon roars could be heard, and that dragon's power was even more shocking. Even Long Bai was shocked. No genius had ever made her lose her composure like this. A dragon has entered the ocean, a real dragon has entered the ocean. Long Bai sighed. North Snow Martial Academy. Lynch was staring at the southwest direction. where the Sky Cloud Martial School was located. The former leader of the North Snow Martial Academy, who was now the Great Elder Shui Warren, walked over and said, "Being able to live in the same era as him is your sorrow, but also your great fortune." As for the Emerald Martial Palace, more people were lost and felt bitter. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.